Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4 Star Chicago Sports. This is the Halas Hangover on Easter Monday. I hope everyone had a happy Easter. It was a beautiful day hanging out with your family, and we got some possible big Bears news. Can Dexter Lawrence be the key piece in the middle that the Bears have been looking for and the Bears are missing? We're going to talk about it right after this. And who you got at 25? We're going to tell you who we got at 25, but we want to know who you like too. Come back with us right after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, Dustin's in the house. What up, D?
What up? How we doing?
Oh, we're living large. Erica, I'm with you, man. I almost broke something today. This team's pathetic, and honestly, I don't know if it's going to get any better. I'm losing faith rapidly. I know it's 9 games in, but 10 games in now. 2 games under 500 with this serious road trip coming up. Oh, boy. Are these serious ball clubs coming up?
Save it for the North Side 9, Sean.
Yeah, Cubs might be out of it pretty quick, man. She put in here Cubs stink.
No,
man.
I know. I'm fucking with you guys.
I'm kicking rocks after another shitty game, shitty offense. God, I can't. Let's talk Bears.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. At least there's nothing on the field. It's all speculation at this point, so we can have fun with this. The off season's always fun. You know?
Yeah, they can't break my heart every day.
Yeah, just maybe on April 23rd. Who knows?
Oh boy, how was everyone's Easter, man? How's your guys' Easter turn out?
It was good, man. I got to Mila's first Easter, so she got her first Easter basket. And,
nice.
She did the egg hunt and all that. My wife did pictures, came out great. Yeah, it was great. It was a great day. How about you guys?
I watched the Cubs lose and win.
Why did you?
And that's about it. We had some small family over here. We cooked a bunch of food, but it was really, really chill. And so it was really nice and relaxing. Yeah, I couldn't ask for more. I could have asked for 2 wins for the Cubs.
Where did Dustin go?
Dustin disappeared. He's tired of the Cubs talk.
Yeah, from now on, if you talk Cubs, I'm just going to go away.
I'm going to bounce out.
Had a good Easter, man. Saw the family. Family, food. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Mikey, where you been, man? What's up, brother? How you doing?
He's out saving the world, Mikey, man, every day.
Bromy wants to get into this Dexter Lawrence thing, guys.
Yeah, I want to get into this Dexter Lawrence thing too, man. I got about 30-40 minutes here, so I gotta hammer it out so I can take care of this family. My wife's got a busy week with school evaluations, all this crap, so I'm a single parent for the next 72 hours.
Oh man. how you hanging in there, Sean?
Oh, I love it. Avery's usually pretty self-sufficient. I just got to make sure she does all of her shit and is ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not watching, she won't.
Yeah, that's every kid, man. That's every kid.
100%. But hell yeah, man. This news today, man. As soon as I saw it, I text you guys immediately like, wow, dude, this is a hot ticket right here, man. If the Bears could pull the trigger on a Dexter Lawrence. Oh man, for me, this is an actual clean and arguably ideal fit for this defense, man. A dominating defensive tackle that collapses the pocket so the edges can feast Booker and Sweat. Holy shit, man. Would this be something special, man? Where you guys at with this?
I think I would much rather have Dexter Lawrence on this defensive line as it's currently constructed than I would Max Crosby. I think if you're talking about the guys out there that have been rumored available or have been made available, I mean, Dexter Lawrence is clearly available now. He requested a trade. This shit is going to happen. They're not going to get a contract done. I mean, Myles Garrett is another one that's floated out there. Myles Garrett's the only one I would want over Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence, what he would bring to this defensive line, I'm feeling confident with Austin Booker and going into his 3rd year. I think he's going to get better. Montez Sweat finally impressed me as a Chicago Bear, last year. So I'm feeling decent about the defensive ends, and there's some decent ones in the draft that you can still add to this roster. So if you can get Dexter Lawrence, a guy who's a nose tackle but can also collapse the pocket like a 3 tech,
Yeah,
that's you're getting both in one guy. Like Caden McDonald is not that guy. Caden McDonald is just going to stop the run. He's going to eat up the double teams. Dexter Lawrence will do that, and he'll sack the fucking quarterback. I mean, he would change this defense immediately.
he would be a perfect fit for me. What about you? Where you at, Brandon? I can't even think.
Yeah, I think we've been, I've been talking about this since last year, man. I saw that this Giants team was running into a problem on this defensive line. They have way too much invested there, and they can't afford to give it to really give any more to that position. But
Mind the murder.
this is not the guy I expected to become available, and especially not. This guy spent his career on the Giants. They finally get themselves a head coach, and now he wants out. And the money's obviously not right. So, like Dustin said, that says to me the writing's on the wall. He is leaving New York. And
Brandon, remember we did that mock earlier this offseason where we traded
to acquire Lawrence. Yeah, and I agree with you, Dustin. I think there's 3 pieces that the Bears really have to focus on in this draft, and it's DT, defensive end, and safety. And I think if you add this guy on top of the free agent additions you already made, you could probably let tackle at least wait till a later round and not have to focus on it too much. So I think this will be a blessing in disguise for the Bears. You would be resolving one of your biggest issues before the draft even got
here. With a ready-made talent that has established himself
right, with a guy who I rank top 3 in the position in the league. And I think you're also, of all the teams that I'm reading are on this list that are giving the Giants a call, I think you have the most to offer.
Well, I will tell you this, dude. I was looking into this a little bit before we came on the air, and there's 2 teams that worry me in this race, and Jacksonville's not one of them. But one of the teams that is kicking the tires are the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Los Angeles Chargers are sitting with the most money under the cap right now. And the other one is a GM that's not scared to pull the trigger and figure out how to make it work for his team, and that's Billy Beane in Buffalo. Buffalo has made the call. They're interested, and that would change the complexion of their defense. And they're all in because Josh Allen's time is eventually going to run out.
The Packers were on that list too, right?
The Packers were on that list, but they have no money, man. I mean, I guess neither does Buffalo.
Yeah, but teams figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Green Bay doesn't even have a first-round pick, so I don't know if the Giants would even answer that phone call.
That's true, Brandon.
Let's get into that part of the conversation because I think that's the most interesting part. You talk about them wanting you sent something out, Sean, that said Quinnen Williams is the starting point. The return that the Jets got for Quinnen Williams from the Cowboys is the starting point for the Giants. Well, that's all well and good, but Quinnen Williams was signed through 2027. Dexter Lawrence is a free agent at the end of this year. The Giants have no leverage. You are not getting a first and 2 seconds.
He's a little
You're not getting a first and a second and a defensive tackle, another player for Dexter Lawrence. You are not getting that return. I think that the value is going to drop heavily for him in terms, like on the field. Obviously, he's a very valuable player, guys, but on the market, every team knows he's just going to be a free agent, and the Giants are not going to be able to re-sign him. It's a done deal. So he's going to be devalued in this trade in terms of what a team has to give up to get him. It will not be similar to that Quinnen Williams deal, I don't believe.
No, but I'll tell you this, and I see the chance kind of resonating this as well.
28.
I'm all in at 25. I would trade the 25th pick because you're not getting a better player at 25. Feels a major need. And when you look inside this guy's numbers, man, over the past 3 years, this guy's absorbed 74% of double teams and he's still producing. I mean, I know he had a down year in 25. When you go back and look at 24, that he was double teamed 74% of the time and still wound up with 9 sacks and second in DT in pressures. Like, this is a guy
he's a fucking stud, man.
And there's zero doubt here. There's zero doubt in my mind.
You're good. Besides injury.
Should be on this phone right now.
Yeah.
And hey, you want 25? Let's take it. A late first round pick. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Do it. Done. Let's go.
Bro, I'm not doing my first round pick.
You could talk about production too, but like you said, Sean, it's not always about the numbers when it comes to these guys playing the nose tackle. It's not statistically measured all the time. And Brian Burns was, I think, the league leading sack player for like at least half the season. That's got a lot to do with what a guy like
I think he
Lawrence.
finished second behind Garrett.
Yeah, and that's got a lot to do with what a guy like Lawrence is capable of. I have no doubt in my mind, guys, if you add this player, not only addressing the tackle position, but Austin Booker and Montez Sweat are going to have a lot easier go. He's a multiplier. He is.
Let me say this:
It'll also free up the linebackers a little bit.
Yes, which is a huge deal for DeMarco
He's
Jackson.
a multiplier across the board.
And then, that's fine and all, but I'm not giving up a first round for him, and you're not
Here,
going to.
let me ask you this:
You're not going to have to, guys.
Why wouldn't you? Why, if
I
they
don't
said
think you
here,
will either,
25th and done, 25th and done, Giants here, ding, 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 25th round, 25th pick, Dexter Lawrence is yours. You're hanging up and saying no?
No, I'm going to keep going back and forth with him, and I'm going to find out if anybody else in the league is going to give him a first round pick for him, because I don't think it's happening, Sean. I'm not giving up the 25th pick because I don't think you have to. And I want that 25th pick to add another talent, whether it's at safety or edge, if I trade for Dexter
McNeil Warren.
McNeil Warren or Thieneman over McNeil Warren if he's there. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I want that pick. Now, Brandon brought up earlier, and I didn't think about that you could add Dexter Lawrence to this equation. Javon Dexter to this equation, and you give up your 60th pick or your 89th pick.
Or Grady Jarrett, but they'd have to take that.
Dexter Lawrence, Javon Dexter. I'm sorry, there's two Dexters in here, so Javon Dexter presents more upside for the Giants. He's similar in size. He can fill that role for them, be a body on the field this year. If he breaks out in the contract year, they're in a great spot. All they got to do is re-sign him. If he doesn't, then you just let him walk, and you still got a second-round pick for Dexter Lawrence, who wasn't going to be on your fucking team anyways. I like that, Brandon, because it clears up some cap space for the Bears, and it also offers them a replacement for that Dexter Lawrence role within their defense. Yeah, but I don't think a first-round pick is going to be what it takes to get Dexter Lawrence, guys. The Giants are bent over a barrel with this right now. He put them in a rough position.
I mean, there's always a possibility, too, that they renegotiate and he stays in New York, because money talks and bullshit walks,
For sure. And we saw that with Myles Garrett last year.
Right. They have a coach, man. He's got to be at least a little intrigued to stick around. They finally have a head coach. But I do believe if Ryan Poles were able, I suggested that, too, because Javon Dexter's been a serviceable, when you look at his numbers in pass rush, he's actually
solid enough.
He's a pretty good player. So you don't just want to lose Javon Dexter, but if this guy's going to ask you for the bag $18 million a year, I probably don't want to give him that either. So if you can move Javon Dexter and get something back for him, as opposed to just letting this guy walk away, if you're Ryan Poles, you're a fucking magician.
Well, that's the other part of it too, Brandon, because if you say you were to trade for Dexter Lawrence and you kept Javon Dexter, what if they both have awesome seasons? You need to re-sign both? What do you get? You know what I'm saying? Like, now you can't. Yeah. Now you're in the same position the Giants are in. So if Javon Dexter is going to have that breakout season, let him have it somewhere else. If you're Dexter Lawrence, once you trade for him, you have to re-sign him.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, if you trade for him, that has to
better resign
kind of an extension.
That's happened immediately.
You can turn Javon Dexter and DJ Moore into Dexter Lawrence. I think that's
a second round pick.
Looking back, as fans, we would say Ryan Poles did a pretty damn good job.
I would be happy with that because Dexter Lawrence, for me, adding him to this team would be the difference as everyone else stays healthy to winning the division and not. Because I know you guys may disagree with me. I personally don't think this is a defensive team that could win the division at the moment. Personally.
Oh, no, fuck no.
So, no. But you had Dexter Lawrence with what's here. You fixed your biggest problem. Everybody else steps up. Kyler Gordon stays healthy. Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. I mean, sky's the limit for the defense at that point. In my mind.
Yeah, and you're narrowing down, we're talking about all these potential guys, and we'll get more into this later in the show, about all these guys you might select in the draft. And to eliminate, like I said, with the linebackers, when they signed Bush and brought Walker back, and then if you get a guy like Dexter Lawrence, you're eliminating needs, which gives you so much more freedom in the draft, which I believe is what Ben Johnson wants, guys.
That's what
Ben Johnson wants to be. Ben Johnson wants a left tackle or a wide receiver somewhere high in the draft, and you're eliminating these needs with players like Lawrence. This is exactly what he did.
But you're also giving up draft picks to do that, Brandon.
So but a second that you acquired for DJ Moore already. Yeah. So this is additional draft capital to begin with. But I think if you're eliminating needs the same as you did last season with the interior offensive line, you have the potential for a really good draft again with Ben Johnson at the helm. And I think Ben Johnson needs to be more in control of this draft than Dennis Allen does. And the only way that's possible, guys, is if you're eliminating these defensive needs now.
I want
Well,
to,
really
real
quick,
quick.
I was going to
One
say to
second.
Mikey,
Let me get this one. Let me get this one first, Sean, because this one was first. He says same thing we thought was Sweat in terms of we get this guy and he's going to be a game changer for our defense.
He's a much better player than
He's a much better player than Sweat right now. He already has established himself as that within the league. I was not a fan of the Sweat trade when it happened. It's hit or miss. It's hot and cold with him. I think it's very different with Dexter Lawrence than it is with Sweat.
I think Sweat would have been there as a free agent. Lawrence will be traded. Somebody will get Lawrence.
I mean,
Yeah,
My problem with the Sweat trade is I believe Sweat might have been available when the offseason came around. That's not going to happen with this fucking guy. He's a top 3 at the position.
I mean,
He's
look
a top
at
3 at the position. It's not going to happen.
6 top teams called within 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
of that thing.
It should be more than 6. It should be 32 teams should be calling to see what the hell they can put on the
Sean,
table.
you had another comment you wanted to get to.
No, I just wanted to say to Mikey, he's 28. We could get 5 or 6 years out of him. I don't know, max.
That's
The
good.
Bears should win a Super Bowl in that 5 to 6 year window.
Yeah, that 5-year window is more than enough.
5 or 6 years out of a 28-year-old player is phenomenal.
That's amazing. Yes, I don't know that's not a negative thing to me.
No,
I can get 5 or 6 years.
But getting him in his prime.
I agree.
Getting him in his prime. Like,
yeah, this guy is still playing really quality football, guys.
This is
Kenny
exactly
Adams.
like everybody wants to hang their hat and say, "Oh, we got to." If Dennis Allen fails this year, he sucks. Get him out of here. You get him, Dexter Lawrence.
Got to get him talent.
He's not going to fail. I promise. You, I promise you that.
I made this point on Thursday. Dennis Allen did an awful lot with a very tough situation with all those injuries. He got guys to step up that weren't supposed to be on football active rosters. He got Nashawn Wright paid, him and Al Harris. So like you start adding real talent to this defense, we might see this team fucking take off. And I think you got to take a chance on a guy like Dexter Lawrence if he's available. I think this should be very real. I don't think it's unrealistic at all, J2K. It's unrealistic to not put your hat in this ring.
I was actually just going to ask him that. If he's talking about this trade as unrealistic, I think the money that the Bears have in cap, dude, they have $124 million coming off the books at the end of this year.
Well, and really,
they'll be able to figure out how to pay.
Yes.
Well, and J2K,
and he's worth it.
These are positions where a player is strong-armed a team, like Dustin said. They don't have many options, the Giants. So there will be a point where if no team offers them a first-round pick, they will have to take what they're offered. And I believe this, guys, the same as you did with DJ Moore, because we gave them a fifth-round pick, the Bills. You might even be able to get a pick to get yourself back into that gap you have in the middle of this fucking draft this year. If you can take a second-round pick from this year's draft and maybe a future pick of next year's 4th and get Dexter Lawrence and a 5th, you're not going 100 picks this year without having a fucking.
That's the thing I thought about immediately too, Brandon.
That's something Ryan Poles should be thinking about.
I look at it like the same way that teams value DJ Moore. Teams knew the Bears needed to come off of DJ Moore. That was a must. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
The fact that Poles got a second is amazing. I think the fact if the Giants could get a second out of Dexter Lawrence, I would think they're going to feel pretty fucking good about that. But again, the Bears gave that 5th round pick back upon getting that second. I look at it kind of in that same way. We all knew DJ Moore was a very good player, but the Bears were in a bad position in terms of money, and they had to move him. It's the same exact thing here with Dexter Lawrence and the Giants.
And the Giants could take a second-round pick and draft a Caden McDonald and be all fucking dandy.
Yeah. Especially if the Bears were to include Javon Dexter, because now you have the what you need to go into this season and not feel like
you got Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Javon Dexter, and maybe a Caden McDonald. The Giants are fucking fine. You know what I mean? That's another thing, J2K. We had, and Dustin makes a really good point here. If you think about it, even a little deeper, is we had such a luxury at wide receiver. Not only did the teams know that the Bears needed to move them, we had the affordability to get rid of a guy at that position because we have a pretty stacked wide receiver room. This Giants defensive line is loaded. They can move on from a guy like him, man, and they can.
Well, honestly. Dexter Lawrence is the most important player on their defensive line from my perspective.
I think Abdul Carter is going to probably have one of the best seasons at the position coming up next season, man.
Well, I mean, that's all.
The end of the year, he really.
you already made the point that how much Dexter Lawrence impacted Brian Burns in this season. Sean, I think we had a couple new people in the chat, man. Have you guys
Yeah,
seen
I
this
saw
one?
that.
Big Cheese?
Big Cheese is new. I hope that's not a Packer fan, but I give him an applause anyway.
Let's do it.
He says pleasing to Jervon. Yeah.
Yes. I think Jervon Dexter makes total sense, Brandon. I love that you proposed that. And I think that if the Bears pick 60 or pick 57, either one, because you do have those 2 seconds, I feel much better coming off a second. And maybe if you got to do a future third or something like that, or if you can include Jervon Dexter, I am not with giving up the Dexter Lawrence. I think he's worth it, Sean, in terms of how the impact he makes on your team. But I don't think he's going to command that on this trade market right now.
No, I don't either. I'm with you, Dustin. I think the Giants are throwing that out there because that's their, like you said, Sean, it's a starting point. But I think the realization is they're not going to get it. I don't think any team's going to call.
I don't think the Bears, based on his value and what he is and how important he is to a defense, I don't think 57 or 60 gets it done either.
And
I mean,
I also think,
and I don't even know, including Javon Dexter.
J2K
Dexter's a pretty big step down, right?
J2K is asking about the money here for the Bears. That sidebar, that Jaguars, it's not. There's no way. These guys just gave Hines Allen and Javon Walker
J2K, it's really easy.
million fucking dollars. They're in the same. They're in the same boat as the Giants are now with their defensive line.
You renegotiate the contract, you give him a signing bonus, you pay him, and then you backload the contract.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
$22.5 million.
I can tell you this right now. Watch what the Kansas City Chiefs do. Watch what the Buffalo Bills do. It's exactly what they do. They manipulate the cap by turning in a bonus. Bears can do the exact same thing.
And J2K, I listen, no disrespect.
Real quick, guys, I just want to be accurate.
I don't believe in the salary cap for shit. I've said
I want to be accurate here, though, because he's saying $29 million, and it's not $29 million. The 2026 base salary, according to Spot Track, is somewhere between 18.5 and 20 million. So that's important too. That's a big variance. It could be a $10 million difference in what you're saying. And like you said, you re-sign them and you backload it. That's what you would do if you're
explain how these teams
explain last
so
year
loose these contracts. These guys can do whatever the hell they want.
Exactly. It's not a big secret.
But you still need to work within the confines of reality, guys. You do.
You do. But the cap's a joke. The cap's an absolute joke. Look at what they did. All they're doing is renegotiating these contracts, making it into guaranteed money. It benefits the players. Players are happy, freeing up cap space and adding to their team. It happens throughout the league. I never want to hear a team is broke because they have the means to do it by offering players these signing bonuses, gives them guaranteed freaking money. What player doesn't want guaranteed freaking money? Everyone will take it. The cap is a joke and will continue to be a joke because every team manipulates it.
Listen, we're not cap gurus, guys.
No, not at all.
But I 100% know that if Poles could find a way to get Dexter Lawrence on this team for a price he was comfortable with, he would already have a plan in place on how he was going to sign him before he made that trade. We saw the trade with Judon. We saw the trade with Judon get nixed because they couldn't work out a deal with Judon. Ryan Poles ain't making that trade unless he already has a plan in place with Dexter Lawrence on how he's going to pay him.
Which he does, Dustin, because the Bears have been officially reported as one of the teams who have reached out to the Giants. So Ryan J2K, however, it's got to be done. Ryan Poles already did it.
We're gonna do it.
It's already done. Ryan Poles has already figured it out because
his brain's turning.
You don't call a team about a player you can't afford unless you got a plan in place, and that's just.
I agree 100%.
We could talk about the compensation that you would need to give and the money you would need to pay and all that. But I'll just say this. As a Bears fan, if you watch Dexter Lawrence play football and you watch the Chicago Bears team play football last year and you say you don't want Dexter Lawrence on this team that you think should be a Super Bowl contender, then I got a bone to pick with you because I don't understand where you're coming from. This immediately changes your defense and makes it a much better unit.
100%, dude.
Solves a huge need, kind of 2-in-1, as I pointed out already. If you're serious about contending for a Super Bowl, you should want this as a fan. Period. End of story.
He'd be the cornerstone of Dennis Allen's defense. That's why 100%. I'm saying you want to make this work. You go get him. His combination of size, strength, interior pass rush ability. This guy is this scheme is built for Dexter Lawrence. Let's just be honest. This is the guy that's missing that takes this team to the next level. You start competing with some of the upper echelon teams, especially with this schedule we have coming up in 2026.
My only caveat is that I'm not giving up the first to do it. And again, it's not because I don't think he's worth a first, Sean. It's because I don't think you got to give it up, and I'd like to have both.
DA uses the tackle in the middle to free up his edges. And in case Dexter Lawrence can work as a 3-tech, if you read his profile,
he can be your fucking 3-tech.
Be a 3. He
Yeah,
can be whatever.
He can do both. That's my point. Yeah.
J2K, I don't disagree with you very much, but I'm going to disagree with you on this 110%. This dude is a perfect fit for the Chicago Bears in the middle of that defensive line. And if he came here, you'd be talking about a Pro Bowl season in Dennis Allen's scheme.
And you'd be talking about a Bears defense that gave up 5 yards per carry being immediately impacted in terms of how they stop the run. Immediately. And how they collapse the pocket and get after the quarterback. He fixes both. He's one player that fixes both. Yep. However you choose to deploy him, he will help your run defense and he will help your pass rush.
Yeah.
It's a 2-in-1 addition, guys.
Oh. When it comes to his system,
Brandon, what the fuck are you doing?
He's a true nose, man. A 0-tech, a 1-tech. He's not just a space heater, man. You know what I mean? Like you're saying he doesn't use 2 nose tackles. He would use him, or what did he say? What did he say there? A 2-gap nose tackle.
I don't know. Did you notice that Brandon just took us off the fucking screen?
He did? No, I didn't. I was trying to read my inside profile on this guy.
Brandon, get your shit together, man. What are you doing? Sorry.
Where did Brandon go?
It was just the thumbnail up there. I don't know, man. He was on some shit. He'll be back. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Sean.
Go
ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say he's an anchor in the middle versus the run, and he could be a 2-gap when needed. He wouldn't be a true 2-gap. You're right. That's not the way he would be deployed. And again, J2K, I would really do a deep dive into Dexter Lawrence and Dennis Allen if you think Dexter Lawrence wouldn't work in this defense. Again, I don't disagree with you very often, but I think you're 100% wrong on this one.
J2K is usually pretty spot on.
He's very smart. That's why I'm very surprised at him not agreeing that this dude would change the complexion of this defense.
I'll tell you, Sean,
perfect fit for Dennis Allen.
I'm surprised that you're so willing to give up a first-round pick for him with the stance you've taken on other people that have been available in the past.
You know why? Because he's 28 years old and he is the biggest need. And as we talked about, helps the edges, helps free up the linebackers. This one centerpiece, the cornerstone of Dennis Allen's defense, would do so much for you. And when I look at 25 in this draft, the guys that I personally want, I don't think are going to be there because I'm not I think Caden McDonald's going to be a good player in the NFL. I don't think he's a fit for the Bears. Okay. Malachi Lawrence, I keep hearing his name come up. Again, don't think he's a fit for the Bears. 22% run stoppage or missed run tackles. That's not good. 23% for his career. I don't want a one-trick pony for the Chicago Bears. I want someone who's going to set the edge. Malachi Lawrence, another guy, doesn't fit the scheme. So as we keep coming down, if Emmanuel McNeil-Warren's not there, for me personally, I'm fine trading 25 away because we're not going to get that nose tackle that brings what Dexter.
Let me say this, man. Good players know how to fucking play football, and the scheme does not go beyond their talent ever. Yeah. Never ever. Like you can take if a player is a baller, they will fit in any scheme, and it's a coach's job to adjust the scheme to help fit that player because you want to take advantage of what they do well. I will always feel that way. I will never put scheme above player because players win fucking football games. That's just the reality.
Well, as you say that, what I'm saying is when you come to Caden McDonald, he fixes one thing but not the other. When you come to Malachi Lawrence, he fixes one thing, not the other.
I wasn't saying that towards you. I'm more saying that towards J2K, saying like Vince Wilfork. It's like saying Vince Wilfork could play in DA's system. Yeah, he fucking could because he was a damn good football player who did his job really well. You find a way to deploy them within your scheme that makes an impact on the football field because that's what those fucking players do, man. That's always going to be my mindset.
J2K, there's a lot of people reporting that the Bears, Packers, Bills, and Jags reached out. I know Easton Butler was the first person to put it out there, but there were other people that Bears reporters.
Is it Packers
I don't
reporter?
give a shit if Dr. Seuss. Listen, I don't give a shit if Dr. Seuss is reporting this. I want Dexter Lawrence on the Chicago Bears. That's why we're talking about it. We're not talking about it because Easton Butler said something about it. We're talking about it because he requested a trade. And if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm getting on the fucking phone. That's why we're talking about it.
Like
Four Stars thinks that it's an interesting topic.
31 football teams should be on the phone right now.
Yes. Seriously.
And he plays more of a 0-1, and he slides over to three tech and rush packages. Go look up his profile. I looked it up before I came on the show. He's 0-1, and then in some rushing downs through his career, he slipped over to 3. He's versatile. That again is exactly what one man, Dennis Allen, looks for when he gets players to his scheme.
He's just a better Grady Jarrett. He's a much better
yes.
Grady Jarrett.
I didn't think there'd be this much pushback from some people on Dexter Lawrence, to be honest with you. I thought everyone would be clicking their heels.
I think it comes down to that first round pick. I think it comes down to that first round pick. And I'm all for it because I don't think a first round pick is what is going to be necessary to get him. I think you can get
maybe they get creative and they trade up and wind up taking that pick and trading it for Lawrence. And who knows? Anything could happen to make this happen. And again, I'm not saying it's going to happen because if there's a trade in place, if there's a trade that's going to go down, the Chargers are in a really good place to swoop in and just beat out everybody and max out Lawrence.
And if you're talking about scheme, he would fit their scheme really, really 100%. Well. They could even put him at defensive end.
What scheme did the Packers run last year?
They won a 3-4.
Didn't Micah Parsons change scheme from Dallas to Green Bay?
Yeah. He was an outside rusher, basically. Yeah. He was outside linebacker.
Dustin, good players. Schemes are relevant. It really.
I'll always feel that way. Always, Brandon.
I agree.
A good player is going to get plugged into your system, and you're going to figure out how to fucking use them because they win you football games.
You think if you threw Myles Garrett into a 3-4, he's not going to fucking murder?
If you put Myles Garrett at safety, he would help you win football games. Period.
He's going to murder quarterbacks no matter where he is on the field. That's
so
sure.
I mean, like, I don't know. I'll say this. If you want your team, the Chicago Bears, to be competitors, then there's some things that on the defensive side that need to be fixed. If you can find a guy like Dexter Lawrence at the right price, you should 100% be interested in that as the Chicago Bears GM and as a Chicago Bears fan and as a Chicago Bears player, because he will instantly make your team better. If you are not for that, then I don't understand where you're coming from. That's all I'll say.
Well, like I said, I think the impact that you see a guy like that make on, I mean, the Giants over the course of Lawrence's career, the Giants edge rushers have all been very prevalent players. I think that has a lot to do with what's happening on the inside of that line. I mean, there is no doubt.
Yeah, it's a chicken or the egg conversation.
Is making players better around him because, like Sean said, what was it? Sean, was there 78% of the plays he's consuming 2 blocks and still making play? I mean, we talked about this for the last 3-4 weeks ad nauseum, guys. You don't have a player on this roster that can do this, and this is.
And on top of that,
at the highest level in this
league. Top of that, Brandon, as Sean said, and as I pointed out, he's not a one-trick pony. He doesn't just do that. He can.
No, he had 8 sacks in the season 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. And J2K. I'm making the point that if you're talking about scheme and you care about that, which I fucking don't. Yes, he would fit into that Chargers scheme better if you're one of those people that think that way. That's all I'm saying. He fits in this Bears defense 100% in my mind. I'm with Sean all the way on that.
I just looked up his career. He's a
goddamn good player.
I just looked at his career, and coming out of Clemson, he was viewed as a high-level 4-3 defensive tackle prospect. System suitability.
He's always played in a 4-3.
That's what we wrote. That he's a high-end starter for a 4-3 defensive tackle, or even certain 4-3s under setups. So, coming out of college, he said he ran a 4-3. He wasn't a 3-4, but as Dustin stated, he's a talented player that can play in any defensive scheme.
He's been in a 4-3 with the Giants for like 3 years.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know why we're talking about scheme because
they played a 3-4 last year.
But for multiple years, he was in a 4-3 in New York. It's not like he was just playing in a 3-4.
Yeah, 4-3 and 3-4, 4-3 and 3-4s are definitely different defenses, but it doesn't matter. He played in a 3-4 base last year. I would love for this trade to happen. So everyone can be like, damn, you guys are right. Dexter Lawrence is an absolute beast in the center of the Bears defense. Because I don't have a single doubt. And if the Bears traded for him, Ryan Poles, Dennis Allen, they wouldn't have a doubt either, or they wouldn't be making the damn trade, and they wouldn't be picking up the phone.
Yeah. And again, the major point to be made is that, we don't know how they're going to work the cap, but if you trade for him, you've already figured out how you're going to do it in order to re-sign him to a long-term
Somebody
deal.
posted an article today, it's just a few hours ago, how many ways the Bears could afford Dexter Lawrence and why they should make that trade. So we're not cap experts, guys, but there are dudes who analyze this game who are very into that stuff, and they can tell you many ways in which the Bears can make it work. You've got guys like Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, who could very easily be restructured. A guy like TJ Edwards could just be cut. I know,
but the Bears aren't going to restructure, Brandon.
You'd bite a lot of money if you let Edwards go, but if you're biting that money in order to give some to somebody else, it makes sense to me.
If they were going to restructure these contracts, Brandon, it would have been done by now. They're not
unless a player like Dexter Lawrence is only,
and now you have to make a move
if they do so.
I guess, but the option's still there, I guess. But it's not something Poles does, as has been pointed out over and over again.
I don't know. This is the way I treat these guys. These guys don't often become available players at these, but the top 3 players at their positions in the league. When Myles Garrett became available, when Micah Parsons became available, Dexter Lawrence, I say do it. I don't care.
Every time, Brandon, me and you are here every time.
You think about that shit at another point. You think about the money, the draft capital. You think about that later. You go get the fucking guy.
Because that guy immediately makes your team better. He makes you more competitive. And Dexter Lawrence does that. And as I said, the only guy I'd want that is in that room, in those rumor mills over Dexter Lawrence is Myles Garrett. That's the only guy I would want over there. I would take Dexter Lawrence over Max Crosby if I had my choice. I would.
Yeah, and I think the only case that we didn't even talk to Jonathan Franklin Myers, that maybe that would imply that the Bears just aren't interested in getting a veteran player at this position. They want to do this through the draft. Outside of that, I don't see how the Bears aren't calling this football team.
And to answer your question, Mikey, it looks like he's only missed 5 games in his career, and that was 2024. He had an elbow injury. So
okay.
durable, and I'm looking it up right now just to
listen. I'm glad we're all on the same page here at 4 Stars. I would imagine if Kyle was a part of this conversation, he'd be all for this as well. So usually we're kind of going back and forth, like, no, we're not giving up our picks and those things. This guy you could get, and it's not the package you would need to give up to get a Crosby. It's not the package you would need to give up to get a Garrett, to get these a Micah Parsons last year. Like it's not that same package. I'm telling you, it's not even going to take what it took the Cowboys to get Quinnen Williams. It's just a completely different situation because he will be a free agent after this year because the Giants are not re-signing him. Quinnen Williams was locked up. It's different.
Okay, you sound very opposed to signing him. It's not the cap thing. I feel like you just don't want him on this football team.
And that's fair. That's okay. That's okay. That's your opinion to have.
But
that's fine.
We talked, because I know J2K is not a fan of Caden McDonald, and is there a technique in this draft that you think is even remotely comparable to the production that Lawrence has provided over the course of his NFL career? Do you think there's a guy in this draft that provides that?
J2K has been in here saying
you need a one.
Dennis Allen doesn't
whether it's draft or Lawrence.
No, Brandon, J2K is of the opinion that the Bears, Dennis Allen doesn't use a one tech. That's his stance.
Well, that Andrew Billings played football on his team last year. So
I'm just telling you.
I have to refute that.
You need one for sure. Like you have to have one. It's a pretty important part of your front four.
They signed Grady Jarrett, who really is a true one tech. He's not a 3-tech. He's not a sack.
He's more of a 3 than a 1.
James, for me, I would trade 25 for Lawrence. Dustin's opposed to it. He doesn't think that it has to be done. But if it came down to 25 for Lawrence,
if that was the only thing, okay, you want to twist my arm and say that's the only way it's getting done. That's the only way it's getting done. You have to give up the 25th pick. I would do it. I would if it was like nuts to the table, like this is what's gonna happen, or your nuts are getting smashed. Like okay, I'll take it. I'll do that because he is worth it on the football.
Well, then, but J2K, you say that Grady Jarrett's a classic 3-tech, then that would imply that Dennis Allen does sign players who play one position. If he's a classic 3-tech, he's not a 1-tech.
It's a new guy in the chat, guys.
Then Dennis Allen does sign guys who are strictly, definitively one thing, right? It's the same thing as
Thank you for
signing a
being
one.
here.
It's the same thing as signing a one tech if you have a guy who only plays the three tech, right?
D. Levine,
It's not
hit that.
versatile.
D. Levine, hit that like button. Make sure you're
It's
subscribed, man.
it's fundamental. It's not versatile. So if you have a guy like Grady Jarrett on your team who you signed to play strictly three technique, then
Then
why
you got a
wouldn't you
guy
do
that's going to
so?
play strictly one tech too.
Why
You
would
got
you
to have
do
the
so
other
for
guy.
the position standing next to him?
Let me just say this real quick,
Well,
guys.
we might find out one day, J2K.
We were having this conversation earlier, and I just want to share it with the chat because these guys have been so vital to like our channel growing, and we're at 815 subs, and that's all because of you guys. And y'all show up every week and show out. And we love you
And
for
we
it.
love these conversations.
Yeah,
And J2K
but
knows that.
this isn't the point of what I'm
There's
saying.
no
Though.
ill will.
We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. If you got a friend that's like-minded that would get down with us and have fun with us and enjoy these types of conversations, please share it with them. A family member, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma. I don't care. Bring them all. We welcome all comers, but we're trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we want to celebrate it with you guys when we do. So if y'all can help us out with that, that'd be great. We appreciate your love and support. And either way, you're always here. Thank you so much. But all these new guys in the chat tonight, I've seen a few. Hit that subscribe button, man. We have fun. Keep coming back. We're doing shows 4 times a week. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, I had my fun, and now I gotta go be a dad. Booyah!
All right, Sean.
We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Love y'all. And Manuel McNeil Warren, 25.
We're about to get into it. I think we've beaten this conversation up. All right, sounds good, Sean.
All right, boys. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Brandon.
Yes.
And then there were 2.
Let's dive into this draft while we're talking about positions of need.
Yeah, I mean we've made our point clear on the Dexter Lawrence thing, and I think your opinion is going to be your opinion in terms of what the Bears should or shouldn't do in regards to pursuing something like that, and that's okay. That's okay, but we're all for it. So when we hope he gets done, be a real game changer for the Bears in my mind. Oh yeah, we're mocking tonight, Dante. We ain't got shit else to do. You know we're mocking.
I do want to stay, and it's not just a lot of people. And I'm Justin. I don't think you could have stressed it enough. We could do an entire show about this specifically. You cannot focus. It's like the position of need versus the best player available conversation. You cannot focus on your scheme when good football players are available to you. I don't find that to be a productive way in building an effect of a winning football team. I just.
Brandon, what did we talk about all the time with Justin Fields? What was our biggest conversation point early on?
They never did what he was best at because they wanted him to. They forced him to be something else.
They wanted to fit him into the system.
Yeah,
instead of making the system around
was the most
him.
Stubborn coach to his system in the NFL, and he was our head coach, and it pissed me off week in week out, man. And I
use this guy to his strengths. That's what you do with a baller. You find out what they're good at, and you develop the scheme and the system around that. That's what good coaches do, period, end of story. Good coaches don't come with a ready-made scheme and say, every player needs to fit in this. Every fucking square thing needs to fit in the square. That's not the way it works, man.
And could you imagine
what good coaches do?
Could you imagine Ryan Poles took a phone call, hypothetical, guys, obviously not realistic, but if the Browns said, we'll take a 3rd-round pick for, let's say the Browns call a team that runs a 3-4 scheme. And they say, we'll take a 3rd-round pick for Myles Garrett. And the GM of the opposing team was like, we run a 3-4, man. We can't. You know what I mean? Like,
has Myles Garrett ever stood up in his life?
Like that just doesn't work here for this team. Like I find it to be.
And now Myles Garrett is a tough one. Myles Garrett's a tough one to make that because he can.
Brian Burns,
and Brian Burns too, kind of similar to me. But the point is still fair.
Hakeem Hicks, who played in a 4-3 until he was signed by the Bears and played in a 3-4. You have a really, really productive tenure here in Chicago. That guy's played in both schemes, and he was effective in both schemes because he was a good football player. And I don't think it really measured up to how you used him versus just go out there and do your fucking thing, dude. Do your thing. Go out there and be a football
we will make
player.
plays, and we will make the playbook to where it fits what you do best, and we will take advantage of that while we try to get you better at these other things. This current coaching staff is really fucking good at that. If we haven't noticed that yet, guys, really good at that. That's all I'll say.
And there are how many players, Dustin? we talk about Dennis Allen only wants versatile players who can move from this. How many of those guys are there? Dennis Allen loves Austin Booker. Is he going to play tackle one day?
No, he better not.
There are players in the
Yeah.
league who are good players that are never going to show you any kind of versatility in any way, shape, or form. That's just what it is. I don't know how many tweeners there are in the end of this. Isn't the NBA, guys, where your center can play point guard. There's guys, I would say 90% of NFL players can play one position and one position strongly, and everything else should just probably be left alone. And that's where we get into this, these guys who are like, let's draft Stooks and move them here. And that's not how the NFL works, man. It's not a revolving position like musical chairs where this guy has the potential to do this because of his physical accolades. Yeah, but he's done this his whole fucking life.
Yeah, and
What?
it's not like you have to change the entire scheme to fit him. You could just say, hey, you're this one part that's just going to do this thing that you do really well. And everybody else still does the same thing around you, but what you do is so good, it just impacts the game. So you go do your thing. It's not about like just you got to change everyone else's assignments and their coverages and their responsibilities. That's not the way it works either.
Thursday night, you had people throwing in there like, is Kyler Gordon your starting safety? Well, Kyler Gordon's strength is the fact that he's loose. He can move as a nickel. The nickel position provides the ability for a guy to do a lot of different things. He can move around. You can line him up in different places. He can play a linebacker as well as playing a nickel corner, as well as going outside. I don't want to lock Kyler Gordon down to being the safety on this football team. I find that to be counterproductive to the things that Kyler Gordon does best. The best ability Kyler Gordon has is the ability to do it all. And I don't like moving a guy like that. That's the worst player on the roster to me to lock down in one position on this football team.
And listen, let me say this. Because J2K says Greg Gabriel was on today talking for an hour and a half about how you can't force scheme on players that don't fit, and with that we're saying the opposite. First of all, if I'm saying the opposite of Greg Gabriel, that's fine. I don't care. It's not like his word is end all be all, and that's just what it is. I like Greg Gabriel actually, and I know a lot of people who don't respect his opinion at all. I'm not one of those people. But I will say this: we're not saying the opposite. In my mind, I think we're saying the exact same fucking thing, just in a different way, because you don't force a player into a scheme. That's what we're saying. You don't force that player into the scheme.
And it is on scheme around a player.
It is on the coaches to adjust to a premier talent, in my mind. You adjust. Not that you change everything, but you adjust enough to make them comfortable and take advantage of what they do well to help your team win football games. Every coach that just sticks with their scheme, despite all the players on their team, they make those mistakes and they put those players in the position that you're talking about. Greg Gabriel's talking about, as far as I'm concerned. That's what I believe.
And I think Matt Nagy is the greatest example of this, man. I mean, how many games did you guys watch as fans and think this dude is so fucking stubborn? He won't just let this kid loose. You had Justin Fields on this team who was good at something, but they were literally trying to draw that out of him. They were trying to erase that from Fields because they wanted him to the square peg and the round there, this is the square peg and the round.
And they took away what he did well.
And it's like this
instead
dude
of taking advantage of it.
This dude could have thrived in
the right kind of system.
Yeah. Matt Nagy was too stubborn to do it, and it burned. It didn't just burn Justin Fields, it burned Matt Nagy.
Mm-hmm.
We were all done with it. We were all done watching it. We all knew that Justin Fields, as a fan, I hope you guys saw the same as me and Dustin did. The guy wasn't a pocket quarterback.
And as much as I was ready to move, Brandon, as much as I was ready to move on from him, I had high hopes for him, and I thought that he could have been utilized in a much different way. And the stubbornness to not change is I think really what impacted him. You can't turn him into something he's not. That's exactly what Greg Gabriel's talking about to me. When you say that, now I didn't hear what he was saying, but I'm just saying you can't force a player into a scheme, but you can adjust. You can adjust that scheme, or you can adjust that player's responsibilities within that scheme to still take advantage of their talent. It's a give and take. It's not just one or the other.
And good coaches at this, because like you watch Jim Harbaugh take a guy like Colin Kaepernick, who provides that dual threat quarterback. to a Super Bowl, and then he takes a guy like you go to a place where Justin Herbert is, who can scramble, but he's not necessarily a runner. And Jim Harbaugh doesn't miss a beat. He can do it all the same because you look at a player's strengths and you figure out how you can exploit that the most. And that's and if Dexter Lawrence is on this football team, Dennis Allen, I believe, is a smart enough guy to figure out how the hell can I utilize Dexter Lawrence the best way possible.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to end it, man. This conversation has gone far enough. We wanted to talk about what we think is going to be available to the Chicago Bears at 25, what you guys think that is going to be available to the Chicago Bears at 25, and where we kind of list these guys off in terms of what I really am thinking about, Brandon, is like, who would I be good with if the Bears drafted at 25? What's that list of players? How big is that range to where, like, how likely is it the Bears fuck this pick up or they nail it? Because there is depth. It's not top heavy. There's not a lot of blue chip players in this draft, Brandon. And the likelihood of one of them falling to the Bears at 25 is low. But there's a good list of players to me that could be and should be available at 25 that I would be all for the Bears taking, and it would help their team immediately. NFL ready players.
Oh, Kyle's gonna be pissed that he's missing this one.
Why is that?
He's got a lot of high second round talents that he's willing to take at 25 because he thinks that
there's some of those for sure. Like, and what I really want to gauge from the chat is what guys would you be okay with? What do you think that variance is for the Bears in this spot? It's a very interesting spot to be at in a very interesting draft because of the way the talent is spread out. And like, where do we feel comfortable with the Bears? What direction do we feel comfortable with the Bears going? So John S says, give me the best left tackle available. This is something we're talking about because it was just reported today that Max Ianakor is a top 30 visit for the Bears. That's a left tackle out of Arizona State, athletic freak. And he's a guy I would be very okay with the Bears taking at 25 if they did, Brendan. I would feel good about that. I'd feel like this guy's going to be a left tackle. How about you?
Well, regardless of the name, if the left tackle is the position that isn't crazed over early in the, I'm losing all my words today. If the left tackle is the position that seems to be left the most unattended in this draft early on, if that's the position,
if you find the market deficiency there, yeah.
If the bulk of the best left tackles are available at 25, yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's the way you go. If it's wide receiver, I am completely content, guys. I trust Ben Johnson. I'm completely content with these guys taking whoever they feel is.
Well, let's talk some specifics though, because listen, I'll say this. I think Proctor at the left, Caden Proctor at the left tackle spot. If he's available at 25, he's going to be the best potential option that's available for you at 25. Yeah, and he's a guy I'd be good with too. He's a guy that's versatile. You can move him around the line. He can fill in for a lot of different people, or he can just be your starting left tackle, an athletic freak, as you just said, Brandon, with massive size. A lot of people like him. Yep. So, I mean, like, I'd be okay with him at the 25 spot. And the other guy, Freeling ain't going to be there, Brandon. I'll just say that. The likelihood of Monroe Freeling being available at 25 is very low.
So get this draft tech just to re-rank their players because they're consistently rising and falling. These guys, guess who's at 25?
Who's that, Freeling?
No, Freeling's now up all the way to 12.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a top 10.
And this will break your heart. Omar Cooper just went up 5 spots from yesterday to 22.
Omar Cooper's going to get drafted in that range. People are finally starting to realize that he's one of the better receivers in this draft for sure. I mean, I would not be upset with the Bears taking him. That's another guy I'd be totally good with the Bears taking at 25. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about Proctor to guard. That's what I'm saying though. He's got that versatility. He can move you around. Dante says he thinks Max would need a red shirt. He's raw for sure. He's a physical freak, raw talent, but I think he could transition to left tackle in the NFL. So he's a guy I'd be good with. One other left tackle, I'll just throw out another name since John S. asked about it. If he's available at 25, a guy that I think could play left tackle is Caleb Lomu. I like him a lot too.
He's currently ranked 28th.
And I would be okay with the Bears taking him at 25 if that's the direction they went. Do you got anything else to the left tackle spot? What up, Daniel Jeffries?
No, I think between Freeling, Proctor, and Lomu, if one of those guys is there, and Ben Johnson believes that's your future starting left tackle, yeah, I'm like, guys, left it's one of the most expensive positions in sports. If you get a guy in a rookie deal who's a quality starter,
Brandon, your service sucks right now, bro.
am I skipping?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do. If you get a guy at 25, if you get a guy at 25 who can play this position well in the NFL, man, you do it.
Listen, you keep saying Freeling. Freeling is clearly and obviously the best left tackle prospect in this draft to me. If he's available, there's no fucking way anyone else is even worth talking about. I don't foresee that being a realistic option for the Bears at 25. So that's why I'm not mentioning
Spencer Fano is ranked just behind him, 2 spots behind him.
And Spencer Fano is one of those guys, like they're talking about, well, he played left tackle, but you would draft him to play guard, and then maybe you would end up moving him to center. I don't like that shit. I don't like that at all. Like that screams like red flag to me. Like I don't want to. That's too many spaces removed to me. But Muyago, the left tackle out of Miami, he's everyone's top guy on the board. Yeah. He's everyone's top guy on the board. I think Freeling is better personally, but
I think that he's going
to go before Freeling.
I think Lomu and I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name, Dustin.
Ianakor.
I think these are the 2 guys that will be available to the Bears, so you'd have to like one of those 2 guys.
I'd be good with either one of them. And Dante says he loves Lomu. Again,
I see
throw some stuff out
being drafted before the Bears.
What's up, Scottish? How you doing? So
Proctor's
Scottish
freak.
He is. Yeah. He's really big. He is really damn big. So I mean that's one thing that, like, I don't know, like moving him to guard at that size is concerning to me. But I mean, you've seen guys do it. You just saw Mekhi Becton doing that, and it's gone well for him.
And they like that. They like the guy like Trapillo. That's something the Bears, obviously Ben Johnson seems to utilize. Guy at that size, man, a big dude.
For Scottish, who's just checking in, and anybody else who's just checking in, we're talking about guys that could be realistically available to the Bears at 25 and how we feel about those guys. How big is this list of guys that we would be okay with or feel good about if the Bears drafted at 25? Brandon, I'm going to throw safeties to you because safety is another position of need, right? Let's talk about some guys that you would feel okay. How many guys are there, and name them off?
For me, at 25, there's 3. And that's it. And one of them's not going to make it to you. And Caleb
Downs ain't going to be there. No, yeah.
I don't know, guys. Me and Dustin did a segment on this on Thursday's show. This position is devalued. Dustin, you said market deficiency. I agree with you. This is a position that often seems to fall way farther than it should.
And it could happen on draft day with Dylan.
This is the position right now, guys, in the modern NFL. It was running back for a long time. You remember that? When a running back wouldn't make it in the first round, the running back was always You were talking about the best running back in the draft being taken somewhere in the middle of the second round a few years ago. You remember that? And the safety seems to be that today. A guy like Cooper DeJean, a guy like Imanori, these guys should not be falling to second round picks, man. They're top 15 talents in the draft. And they end up being so when they're after their rookie seasons. They prove it. But
after seeing a lot of mocks, Brandon, where Dylan Thieneman was gone by the time the Vikings picked, it seemed like the Vikings were just lined up to get him every mock draft. Vikings. He's not getting past 18. Then I saw mocks where he was going 12, as high as 12 to the Cowboys. But recently I've seen a few mocks where he's falling to 25 and they're being mocked, and he's being mocked to the Bears. So, like, my hope is growing a little bit, and my excitement around the potential for him to fall to the Bears is growing. And for me, Dylan Thieneman is number one with a bullet if he's available at 25. And I know J2K hates this, but it's cool. We've been having that kind of show today anyways. But when Dylan Thieneman is there, you take him if you're the Chicago Bears, no matter who the fuck else is on the board. I'm taking Dylan Thieneman as my number one with a bullet guy, Brandon.
Well, yeah, and I want to say this, man. From what we don't see as much value in this guys as fans. You read this guy's a extension of the defensive coordinator's mind on the field. He's a leader. He's a voice in the locker room. He's the best teammate a player can have. We might not think a lot about that, but I'm going to tell you this. From what I've seen from Ryan Poles and company here, this means a lot. So if Dylan Thieneman's on the board at 25, that's who the Bears are drafting.
That's how they've
go
set
out,
themselves up, Brandon.
I'm gonna go on a
Yeah.
limb and say that right now.
They
The
have to
character
draft
too
a
will
safety
matter
to start.
just as much as the talent thing does. And then you look at the film is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And then you look at the accolades, the underwear Olympics, as Dustin refers to, what this kid did at the combine. I didn't know. Listen, I watched the kid's tape. And I thought he was a good player. When I watched him at the combine, I was like, "Holy
He's that
shit!"
fast? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know the kid had it in him, man. So that really kind of put me over the top in regards to
It's the
believing in this
classic
kid as a
case.
pro.
Yeah, Brandon, it's the classic case of your need lining up with BPA.
Yeah, he's
Your
the girl
need in
next
that
door.
that your need lines up 100% with the best talent on the board for me in my mind. And then we were asked, why are we so high on Thieneman? He's the best coverage safety in this draft. He's got massive speed, as he showed. He's a willing tackler. I think if you're looking for
And he's a
Kevin,
pro. He's a pro.
if you're looking for a guy to take Kevin Byard's role within this defense, the one that he played so well last year, I was sad to see him go. I didn't want to see him go. But if you're looking for a young guy that can take over that role immediately, it's Dylan Thieneman to me. That's
Yeah,
right.
he's a pro, guys. And there's the difference between being a pro-ready player and a good player in the draft. I think Thieneman and Manuel McNeil Warren will be immediate starters in the NFL and make an impact on their football teams.
There are people.
Like
I'm
Cooper
not
DeJean.
I'm not seeing a lot of people list him as a blue chip talent in this draft, Brandon. On the stuff that I'm reading, there's no safeties on that list, but that's no different than 2 years ago with Cooper DeJean. That's no different than last year with Eamon Warry, who I had as the 10th best player in the draft in my mind. This guy is a blue chip talent in this draft, and that's the one blue chip that could potentially fall to you at 25. And there's no way I'm second guessing it or thinking twice about it.
Look at the safety that everybody and Eamon Warry wasn't the guy. It was Malachi Starks, and where did he go, Dustin? 22. Where did Starks
to the Ravens? It was in the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped. I mean, this position is just not looked at the same as a lot of positions in the NFL, and a lot of people think like, why would you draft a safety in the first round? Because look at the impact they're immediately the best players on their defense. A guy like him, a guy like Branch.
There's a comment here. Yeah, for sure, Brandon. And Dylan Thieneman would make an immediate impact on your team and be an immediate starter. That I have no doubts about that. Shy Will says Jedrick Wills, I think, will be the left tackle, former top 10 pick. If he can stay healthy, might surprise us. Just did a whole segment on that on the Thursday show, the bare minimum. Go back and check it out. I feel that way too. I am with you 100%. I think Wills will establish himself, not right away, but he will be the starting left tackle for this team when it matters most. That's what I believe. And no, J2K, I don't think that the mock drafts is how it's going to play out. I think it's just a barometer. It's kind of just a baseline that you kind of work off of as a fan, because that's what we have to work with.
Well, I don't think the mock draft itself is something.
It's indicative of the talent level of the players and how the league is looking at them.
Well, I think you should watch the trends in mock drafts. So if mock drafts have a guy like Omar Cooper going 35th for a month or two, and then the closer the draft gets, you're seeing this kid being drafted at 20. There's something there. Teams. These guys who are doing the mock drafts have more insight than you and I. They talk to these football teams. They're inside locker. I mean, they know stuff. I mean, like it's the stuff. These guys aren't just doing this strict. They're not meteorologists guessing the weather. They have insight. So when you start to see guys climb draft boards, I think that there's a lot too. Like Matthew Golden.
Well, you saw it with Colston Loveland.
Matthew Golden.
Colston Loveland,
second round pick. He ended up being picked to the Packers at 15 or something? I don't know.
Matthew Golden was in the first round, that whole last month leading into it. Colston Loveland started to pop into the first round out of nowhere leading into that draft. So those are things to watch as well. Phil, what's up, man? How you doing? Dante asked this question. We're going to get into it, Dante, with the cornerbacks. We'll talk about it. But I appreciate you being here. James Christo says the only safety I would for sure draft at 25 is the Ohio State kid. And Flex says, I'm 99% sure they go safety first round. I can't see them waiting until round 2. Poles will get too anxious. Yeah, because that's a starting spot that they need to fill. And if that lines up with the best player on the board, it's a no-brainer. And I think that's what it would be with Dylan.
Yeah, if you look at these other positions, and I've said this before, guys, if you look at when I look at needs, because that's, okay, J2K, we'll talk about these mock drafters. They always list the needs for these teams. And you saw after free agency, prior to free agency, defensive tackle was listed as the Bears' greatest need. safety became the Bears' greatest need after free agency, and that's because they have so little invested there. They haven't done anything. They lost 2 and signed 1, and that's it. And you got guys like Gallimore, but you still have Grady Jarrett, who you pay a lot of money to. You got a guy like Trevon Dexter, who you draft in the second round. You have invested
Yeah,
in the
Dexter
position.
Lawrence, who you're going to trade for too.
Yeah,
Don't forget
yeah.
about him.
You have invested in the defensive tackle position. You haven't invested anything in the safety position besides the guy, and there's 2 of them. You haven't invested anything in the other safety. So like
Yeah.
that, to me,
That has to happen.
where the money and draft is invested is what implies your greatest need. And right now the safety has the least. So I think that
Okay.
is the Bears' greatest need.
There's a question from Shy Will. He says, so y'all like safety over defensive tackle or edge? No, I think we'll firmly state that if Thieneman and the next guy we're going to talk about, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, are not there, and obviously Downs ain't going to be there, then you're not taking safety at 25. If it's not one of those 2 guys, you're not going safety at 25. You will go best player available. If it's Peter Woods or if it's Keldrick Falk, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go the best player available at that pick, period, end of story. Right, Brandon? That's where we're at with that?
Yeah, if Downs, McNeil-Warren, or Thieneman are not available to you in the first round, you're not taking a safety there because if you're Ryan Poles and you're intelligent, you can now wait to get your Halsey. You can wait on a Bud Clark in the 3rd round, 4th round. You can wait on some of these other premier safeties in this draft. The safety is a really, really strong position in this draft, but you really got 3 guys that I think are first round talents outside of those that you have the availability to wait a little bit on the position.
Yeah, man. And I mean, it just goes best player available. The Bears will not lock them. We keep saying this, and it's been shown over time, man. We have the sample set. Like the Bears are not going to lock themselves into we have to get this position or so you can say all that stuff you were saying about safety too, Brandon. But if the right safety ain't there, they're not picking safety in the first round. They'll go wait till the second. They'll wait till the third. They're going to do their due diligence, and they're going to take the best player available. And if they got to trade back, which we continue to talk about, that's what they'll do as well.
And it is about identifying, guys, how deep a position is in the draft. You know what I mean? If there's very little of a position that you need, it might force you to reach a little more than you'd like to. Like if you believe after these guys in the first round, the left tackle position grows extremely weak, you're a little more willing to take a chance. That's just the way
Let's get into that other safety, Brandon. Let's move this conversation along. The other safety is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. We talked about him in depth on Thursday. We've been talking about him a lot. Brandon loves him. Brandon's a big proponent of the safety being that first pick. But again, if it's one of those 2 guys. Dylan Thieneman is available. You take him, right, Brandon? And then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is your next guy. Another guy that has good range.
I think McNeil-Warren could end up being the best pro safety in this draft.
Really? So you would take him over Thieneman?
I like
no,
them
not
both.
Thieneman over Eamon James. No.
I think Thieneman might make a better impact as a rookie. I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren would be a better long-term pro, yes.
So you would take EMW over Thieneman?
I mean, you'd probably there's going to be some growing pains, I think, in his rookie
Just
season.
Answer the fucking question.
Yes. I like McNeil-Warren more than Thieneman. I do.
That's fair, man. That's cool. That's okay. I just saw a couple mock drafts where McNeil-Warren fell to the second round, so it's looking more and more like he's going to be there, but who knows, man. And
if it matters to you guys, he's the highest graded safety by PFF standards in the last, I think, 4 years. So you have Umanori, you have Cooper. He's higher graded than these guys. He's higher graded than Downs. He's higher graded than Thieneman. By PFF standards, he is the highest graded safety in the draft.
Yeah,
he's the highest graded safety in any draft over the last 3 or 4 years.
I don't know. You got to stop throwing PFF out there when like we dog it so much, man. Like that's from my perspective. It's like we can't dog it and then use it to back up.
It's an advanced metric. There's not very many of them.
For sure. James says Thieneman over Eamon Warrior. I say no to that. Eamon Warrior I had as a top 10 player in that draft last year, and last year's draft was a lot better than this draft. If Thieneman was in last year's draft, he's probably a second round player. So Eamon Warrior is clearly, to me, better than Thieneman. And then Flex says, I don't see anyone trading up. That's the problem I see for the Bears. The only thing you could really think about, though, the Jets coming up from the early second round to get to that 25th spot to get in position to draft Ty Simpson, or the Cardinals coming up from the early second round to get into that 25th spot to draft Ty Simpson. Dante says flex, someone may trade up for an offensive tackle. I guess for sure, but I think the quarterback is where you want to really take advantage of that. And Ty Simpson, I think, is going to end up being a first-round pick, and someone's going to get back into the end of the first to get him. Hopefully the Bears, if there is someone that takes advantage of it, hopefully it's the Bears. I think that's the scenario you would see someone trading up.
There are also some teams that are extremely wide receiver needy, and you got Concepcion there. You've got some guys who are going to fall the
Jordan
bottom.
Tyson might be there, right?
Denzel Boston. These are
Denzel
guys
Boston, yeah.
So there might be the wide receiver seems to be the thing that a lot of teams are willing to trade up for.
Yeah, for sure. I foresee it being a Ty Simpson thing. There's going to be a push between a few
the quarterback's
teams
the thing
to get back into the first round for Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson's gaining steam, man. He is, and I just don't see it just being the one quarterback in the first round. I don't see that. I think if someone's going to trade up, it will be for Simpson.
I don't disagree.
But yeah, a lot of teams are left tackle needy as well. So Dante asked about the cornerbacks. He said Colton Hood or Avian Terrell. I personally like Avian Terrell better. I'll say this, Brandon, and I haven't said it on the pod yet. I've said it to you guys. I would do fucking backflips if Jermod McCoy fell to the Bears at 25 because of his injury problems. I don't know if that's going to happen. I highly doubt it will. It looks like he's going to be gone within the top 15 picks. But that's a cornerback I would 100% jump on if he were to fall because of his injury concerns. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, he's a stud, dude. I mean, he's a stud.
I mean, he took a whole year off of football for that injury. So, like, that's a problem that might deter teams from drafting him early.
I just read an article about him a couple of days ago that says, like, whatever team is able to land him is going to get a top 10 talent in the draft because he's not going top 10.
That's the definition of market deficiency right there, Brandon. Like that's someone who's going to get one of the best talents in the draft, maybe a top 5 talent in this draft at a devalued price because of that injury history. And if he stays healthy, you just got yourself a fucking stud for pennies on the dollar. I would be ecstatic about that.
I would hope that you're moving on. I would like to see a trade of Stevenson or something if that's the way you want to go, man. That position.
I read an article today, Brandon, that said Tyreek Stevenson is going to be in line to get a 4-year, $60 million deal, according to Spot Track.
I'm not giving that deal.
I mean, he's got to have a damn good season. He's got to have a damn good season this year for that to happen to me. I mean, he hasn't played to that level, not in my mind. But like that's the position the Bears are in potentially if he does, and they might need to draft someone if they don't want to pay him that.
Past McCoy and Hood, man, it's the kid that
I like Avion Terrell.
Brandon Cease.
Brandon Cease.
Yeah, he's ranked 36 right now on the board. And this is Draft Tech guys' website. I keep my eyes on because they're constantly moving players up and down, feeling based on how they think the players are, how the rankings are going. But I think if you don't get one of those two guys, Dustin, I'm good. I'm 25. I'm not taking a corner.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man.
I like Hood too. I like Colton Hood a lot. I do.
I'd be good with him, and I'd be good with Avion Terrell. I would take Avion Terrell over Hood personally, and yeah, if Jermon McCoy were to fall, he's the obvious winner of that conversation without a doubt. It's just food for thought. Again, I don't expect that to happen, but we've seen crazy shit happen. You saw Will Howard fall last year, and the Cardinals got a steal because of it. The best cornerback in the draft in the second round. If the best cornerback in this, Mansour Delane out of LSU is going to be gone within the first 12 picks for sure. But like, just food for thought. Like, if he were to fall there, the Bears should jump on that in my mind.
Is it Will Howard? I feel like that's not the right name. Will Johnson?
Will Johnson. Sorry, did I say Will Howard, the quarterback out of OSU? My bad. Will Johnson, yes, the cornerback out of Michigan, not the quarterback out of Ohio State.
The kid who Arizona stole.
Well, I think Will Howard's going to be a good quarterback. Still saying it.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh should give him a shot.
Yep. All right. So cornerback. That's kind of where we're at with that. The other thing is defensive tackle, Brandon. And I mean, who would you be okay with at that spot? The 25 pick. defensive
This
tackle.
is where I'm gonna. A lot of the chat's gonna hate me for this, man.
Let's hear it. I can't wait.
Peter Woods is a player I would draft at 25.
Yes, sir.
Outside of that, the guys that will we're talking about the players that will realistically be there at 25. None of them. And I'm gonna hear a
I'm
bunch of
kind of
shit
with you.
about Lee Hunter. Everybody's gonna tell me about Lee Hunt. I would wait till the second round if I don't get Woods. I would.
Listen, man. And Dante says, thanks, guys. Jamad or pass on cornerback. I mean, yeah, kind of. That's kind of where we're at. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Brandon. Peter Woods is my for sure. Like, if he's available and some other guys are gone, I'm going with Peter Woods, and I'm going to feel great about that. I would feel great about the Bears drafting Peter Woods at 25. But Caden McDonald to me is a second round.
That guy even looks scary.
Caden McDonald to me is a trade back candidate. Like, if the Bears do trade back into the early second round, go ahead and get yourself Caden McDonald. I don't know if you jump on him at 25, but I'll say this. I'm not going to be upset if I'm not going to be like ecstatic, but I'm not going to be upset. We've talked about how much the Bears need a player like that, and he is a stud. Let's not get it twisted. I wouldn't be upset if the Bears drafted Caden McDonald. Like, if you were to announce on April 23rd the Bears are drafting Caden McDonald with the 25th pick, I'm going to be okay with that. I will. Like, I'll be in the camp that's okay with it. I'm not gonna.
We did a mock draft where we drafted Woods and McDonald, and like that I would fucking jump for joy if the Bears were to manage to draft both those players, man.
We got a new member of the chat, and he's asking a question. First, let's get the applause for you. Fifth, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Hit that like button. Subscribe. I don't know what the fuck you're about. Definitely hit that button. Come back and join us. Stay here with us. I love your question. He says, have you mentioned Kristen Miller, defensive tackle out of Georgia? Thoughts? I think he's a fucking really good player. I do. And I've seen him creeping into the first round. I have.
He falls in such a weird place for the Bears, man, because he's like,
second time.
Measures,
I've never seen you, so you got the applause.
He's ranked right between the Bears' first pick and the Bears' second pick. He's like right in the middle of all of it. So you would either be reaching, or
it depends on how your board is.
You probably don't have a shot. It's very strange.
If your scouts think he's better than Caden McDonald, Brandon, you're not really like, it depends on where he's ranked by your evaluation. You know, like these again, as J2K pointed out earlier, and J2K stopped talking. So I don't know if he's still here or not. We love you, J2K. I had fun with you tonight. I'd like to always and forever. Please keep coming back.
Those are the conversations we love the most.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I hope you guys understand that. Those of you who start throwing disagreement in here, that's the best.
Please
shit
bring it.
And
it creates the best content to me too. So yeah, we love you, J2K. But I forget what I was even saying now at this point. Oh yeah, he was saying, like, do you guys think that mock drafts are a way or how drafts are going to fall? No, we don't. That's not the way we look at it. So like the way these players are evaluated by each team is going to dictate that. A guy like Lee Hunter might be a first round talent to the Houston Texans. A guy like Kristen Miller might be a first round talent to the Chicago Bears. He is a very talented player. I don't know that you'd be reaching. Again, like I would feel okay if the Bears took him. I would at 25. But I would feel a lot better if they traded back for one of those teams that wanted Ty Simpson to jump back in the first round, got some extra picks, and then took Kristen Miller in the early second. That I would feel really good about that.
I don't know that if J2K was here, I don't think that he would. I mean, this is a true one technique. This guy is not going to collapse the pocket. He's not going to rush the pass very much. He's a 325-pound player. He's a fill the gaps.
He's a good player, though.
Take guard, 2 blocks kind of guy. I think the Bears need a 1 tech as much as they need a 3 tech. You know,
maybe more, Brandon. Maybe more.
Yeah, I think if you had a true 1 tech, Trevon Dexter might be a much better player.
Yeah, and Montez Sweat might, and Austin Booker might. We've talked about that. Oh, J2K, what up, brother? Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're still here. And Fifth says, I want a defensive tackle as priority. No, for sure. And that's why we started the show talking for 45 minutes about Dexter Lawrence, because that's your number one option with a bullet in order to fix this defensive line, to me. So, like, yeah, I'm with you guys. Peter Woods, Caden McDonald, I'd fuck with Kristen Miller. I'm not as big of a fan of Lee Hunter as a lot of people are. I am
Me
not
neither,
there.
Justin. Yeah.
We haven't really talked about that, Brandon, but it's weird. Why are you not? What's up,
Well,
Ant
I
Mess?
brought
How you
I
doing?
brought it up to you, so the chat's gonna hate me for saying this, but if you don't get Woods, a lot of people will say take Hunter with that 25th pick. I'm not touching Hunter with that 25th pick. I don't
Okay.
think that he's. I don't think that he's. I think his transition to the NFL is going to be a little bit different than a guy like McDonald's. I do. I think McDonald's.
McDonald, I think, is ready made to just play that role for sure. I agree with you there.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, he's a pro, right? He's as big as
Yeah.
he is, and as poorly as his
As
combine went.
athletic as he is.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is an athletic dude. I don't know. Lee Hunter is. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, we've done all these mock drafts. I've never once advocated for the Bears for us drafting that player in the 25th
Yeah,
pick.
no. But I would be okay with Kristen Miller, I think. I appreciate you throwing that out there, Fifth. Let's jump to the pass rushers because James Christo in caps says, I want a pass rusher. So do we. So does Brandon. So does Dustin. So does every fucking body else. So pass rushers, who are you going to be good with at 25? Let me just throw out my obligatory. Keldrick Falk is the best 4-3 defensive end in this draft. And if the Bears have an opportunity to take him, they better fucking take him. They better not even think twice about it. He's my number one guy if Dylan Thieneman's not available. So I guess he's my number two guy. But like he's the guy that I would want at that spot, Brandon, and I would feel the best about. Where are you at with that?
I like Falk. I do. TJ Parker is interesting, man. I think he's a guy.
He's my next guy. He's my next guy.
Develop into a very good pro. Yeah, I don't know that he's, your NFL.
I think he's a lot more,
but he doesn't have to be
than you're saying right now.
He doesn't have to be an NFL starter day one. I think he's a guy that can be developed into a good player. After that, man, I'm not the biggest Messidor guy. I think Messidor had a lot of success because Bain, and I don't know, Dustin. The one guy, Cassius Howell, is just a guy I haven't really done too much homework on. How do you feel about Cassius Howell?
I mean, a lot of people like him. He's had high first round buzz at some points. His arms have taken him out off of teams' draft boards. And when you look at the data behind it, you can understand why. You just can. Like it's really scary when you talk about guys that don't meet that threshold of arm length. And the fact that since 2000, you got no guys that have had double-digit sack seasons that fit into that mold. That's scary to me. It is.
And I know I'm operating outside the segment at hand here, man. But we're talking about the 25th pick, guys. I love the edge position in this draft in general.
I thought I liked you.
I think the edge position is really, really strong in this draft. I am completely content with the Bears waiting till the second round to take an edge. I love Derek Moore. I love Yakus. There's a couple of players that I think are bottom of the first round.
Dennis Sutton. Dennis Sutton.
I think there's a couple of players that are first round talents that are going to find their way to the second round, and I'm completely content.
I think Dennis Sutton is the best of that bunch, personally.
I'm completely content with the Bears pushing this position.
Yakus is there too. Let me just say, man, TJ Parker to me is the number 2 guy on this list. I think he fits perfectly into what the Bears do. If Keldrick Falk isn't and the Bears want to go pass rusher, TJ Parker is my next guy that I would feel really good about. Listen, I don't see a difference between him and Mikael Williams from last year. I don't see a difference. And you'd be getting him at 25 versus the Niners drafted him at 11 last year, right? Like I think he fits perfectly in what Dennis Allen wants. He's got the size. He's got the edge setting ability. And that's why I like Keldrick Falk, guys, because he's not just a guy that's going to get after the quarterback. He is a pure 4-3 defensive end. He's got an ass, and he's going to set the edge. And Dennis Allen does want that, right? We all know that. So, I mean, I think TJ Parker fits well within that mold as well. And I would be very happy if the Bears drafted TJ Parker at 25 if that was the best player on the board.
Yeah, while we're on this segment, while we're on this position, guys, we talk about
True Love's Nadine
players. The players that the Bears might take at 25 that we could make, an impact that a first round player should make. Zion Young is an untouchable player. That's why. Do not if there's a player that'll piss me off that the Bears draft at that 25th pick.
I don't want it. No,
it's Zion Young.
How does the
That's,
chat feel about Zion Young? Because we talk about Keldrick Falk, and everybody's just like, "No, I'm out on him."
you
He
know
only
where
had 2
draft
sacks.
tech. You know where
How do
draft
you
tech
guys
has
feel about Zion Young? Because he's not a good player, and I don't think he's going to translate well to the NFL at all.
you know where draft tech has him now? Behind Malachi Lawrence, behind Danny Dennis Sutton. He's now 54th.
Good. That's where he should be.
He's
That's where he should
behind Mason Thomas.
be.
He's
True
just
Pilgrim don't like him.
falling down
Phil
the
don't
board.
like him. Okay,
See,
we
and
just
this is
wanted
the
to
stuff
know.
J2K I'm talking about. This is like Zion Young is continuously falling, just plummeting down boards, and I agree with that. I never, and I don't think Zion Young's not going to be a good football player. I've said this time and time again. If you take that kid with the 25th pick, you have made such a grave error. Such
Yeah,
a
I
grave.
think so too.
Right.
I think but Poles has done stuff like he is projected out. He did it with Dio last year. He's done it throughout his career as the GM. Like he'll
He
take
did
a
with
guy
Trevon
on
Dexter. I think
traits.
he thought Trevon
Right?
Dexter was going to be something really special. Yeah.
Exactly. He'll take a guy on traits and not so much
Zach
stuff.
Pickens.
But I guess a guy could make the same argument that he'd be doing that with Keldrick Falk. So I mean, it's a crapshoot. We all know that. I personally don't like Zion Young
J2K
at
does not
25
like
or at 57.
Yeah. No,
Nobody
that's what I
does.
said too. I wouldn't draft Zion Young in the second round. I wouldn't. If Zion Young made his way into the third round, that's where I would start to consider Zion Young. And I'm being serious. I really am, as much as I'm laughing. For when we first started doing these mock drafts and these shows, man, there was people in the chat. The mock draft itself, the automator was throwing him out there at 20. I never saw it. Stay the fuck away from that kid past the second round. Don't touch him.
Let me just throw one more defensive end
like
out. Sean talked about him earlier on the show, and he talked about him as a one-trick pony in Malachi Lawrence. But if that one trick is really fucking good, it's a really good trick, could be worth it at 25, and it's Malachi Lawrence, Brandon. Malachi Lawrence could be a pass rush specialist to start out his career. Maybe he develops into something more. But if he's a guy that's getting consistent pressure on the quarterback when he's on the field for you, that's something the Bears need. He's an athletic freak. He's a guy I would find a way to be okay with if the Bears took him at 25. But again, another guy that if they traded back and took him in early in the second, if they got out of that first round pick and went back early second and got that extra draft capital and took Malachi Lawrence, I'd be pretty damn happy with that.
Messidor is another player, guys. I would err on the side of caution very much. I think, he came on very strong late in the season. I think Bain
I'm not taking him.
Had a lot to do when you have such a nightmare on one side of the line and Bain. Messidor should be a successful player. He should do exactly what he did, exactly what he should have. But I don't know if you're putting him across from Montez Sweat if he's going to have the same impact that he did. I don't know. And he's not a pro-ready player either.
Maybe he's going to be like Montez Sweat negative 2.0. Like just like a not as good Montez Sweat, which we wouldn't.
And Bain was such an animal last year.
Yeah.
Whoever played across from that kid should have had some success. No doubt.
James Christo really loves Danny Dennis Sutton. He'd take him at 25, he said. I'm not taking him at 25 because I don't need to. I think he's going to be available at 57, and that's exactly where the Bears should take him if they don't draft a defensive end in the first round. But he says Danny Dennis Sutton, Gabe Yakis, and TJ Parker as his top 3.
And you know what, man? You guys,
that's
nobody
cool.
Nobody seems to. Derek Moore is a player. That fucking kid is he's gonna step into the NFL and he's gonna fucking wreak havoc. I really believe.
I think he's.
I really do.
I just see a guy that's gonna be good enough, Brandon, but not that special. That's where I'm at.
I think he's gonna be a better rookie than Austin Booker was. I think he's gonna be a really impact player as a rookie.
For sure. And again, you look at his James Christo's top 3, those wouldn't be your top 3. We all got eyes, we all got our own thoughts on how this game works, and that's what makes this shit fun. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock James Christo for having that be his list. I love Danny Dennis Sutton, but I love him because of the fact that I think he's a first round talent that you can get in the second round. When he becomes a first round talent that I'm getting in the first round, the love drops a little bit.
If you can take Derek Moore, okay, let's negate the 25th pick. Let's negate the 50th. If you can take Derek Moore with that 60th pick, you're not gonna fucking regret that, man. I truly.
I'd much rather have Danny Dennis Sutton. That's all I'll say.
Well, you would if you take Danny Dennis Sutton right now is ranked 52nd. I don't think you're gonna have to. It's gonna be 57th or not at all.
Well, those, yeah, I agree. It's 57. Yes,
And you're hoping that
that's
he
where I'm
falls
taking
to,
him.
yeah, you're hoping that he
Yeah.
falls to you at 57. I think Derek Moore will be available to the Bears at 60. And if they haven't addressed the edge yet, they'd be really stupid to not draft that kid with the 60th pick. I firmly believe that.
J2K says I like Malachi, but I don't think he's on DA's board. I mean, yeah, I get that. And that's kind of what Sean was touching on earlier. Maybe he doesn't do all the things that a defensive end in Dennis Allen's system is expected to do. But if he does that one thing really well, could it be worth it? I'm just throwing that out there.
But J2K, I am with you. The kid that we touched on a little bit earlier that I think could develop into a really, really quality pro.
Howie?
I think Parker, in a few years from now, is going to be one of the league's best edge rushers. I don't know that you're drafting Parker to. He's not going to start over Austin Booker. He's not going to start over Montez Sweat. But I think Parker is going to be a stud of a fucking football player. I do.
And Levine is throwing out he asked this earlier. We didn't really get a chance to get into it. Best pass rushers. He's got Bain 1, Bailey 2, Howell 3, Messidor 4.
Reese on there, huh?
5, TJ Parker 6. Yeah, Arvell Reese has to be on that list, man.
Yeah, I think Reese is probably better than Bailey.
Yeah, but Bailey's really fucking good.
I don't disagree.
I think Bailey's better than Bain.
Bain might end up being the best edge rusher. That kid is a fucking animal, man. I've never seen an arm sacker. Like, if that kid can't get anything on you but his hand, you're done. You're doomed. That kid had so many sacks where he was being pulled in one direction. All he had was one arm to reach out and still just ripped a quarterback down the ground. That Bain is a freak.
Okay, so if Danny Dennis Sutton isn't available at 57, are you drafting him at 25? I don't know. Is he worth the 25th pick? I think he's a damn good player.
I'm probably not, but
yeah, I don't know, man.
I would.
ATK says he doesn't think Danny Dennis Sutton or your guy Derek Moore is going to be there at 57. He thinks a run on defensive ends happens before the second round.
Moore right now is ranked 60 on the big board. I think Moore will.
Well, just because he's ranked there again, teams might have him ranked differently, and if they start going, teams will jump on.
So many edges before him. I think Yakus will be drafted before Moore.
But again, if you see that run on defensive ends and you're a team that needs one, you're going to have to take that earlier than you wanted to. These are things that do happen in the draft. So
the reason that I keep saying Moore at 60 is because I believe, guys, he might be the only one there in this top tier talent of edge rushers. Because he just had the one season with 10 sacks. Prior to that, he struggled. And he didn't provide much. He didn't fool anyone. It was like, he was a one pony show. Like, so the guy finally added some moves to his arsenal, and that's what made him, I think, really elevate in his final season in college. And I think that's a guy who could really keep a fucking left tackle on his feet, man. He can throw a lot at you.
We'll see. I think Danny Dennis Sutton will be in that range.
He
might go a couple picks before the Bears at 57, but the opportunity will be there.
I firmly believe. Thank you, Mikey. I like guys with hands, but can also bull rush. And Derek Moore is one of those players to me.
Okay. And then Dante asked if Joshua Joseph out of Tennessee does anything for you. Not really. No, I like Lawrence better.
Well, where are you talking about?
Huh?
Where are we talking about Joseph and with what, the 25th pick?
No, definitely not. But I think we're on this defensive end conversation now. So yeah, I don't know.
The one thing that we can say, guys, based on the conversation we've just had with all of you in the chat as well, you've got Zion Young, you've got Messidor, guys that we haven't really talked too much in depth about. There's a lot of freaking edge talent in this draft. And Joshua Joseph is ranked 65th. I don't know about him out of 10. Okay, I remember. I watched a couple of times.
He's a smaller dude. He's more of that pass rush specialist. Yeah, he's more of a stand-up.
240.
Yeah, he's more of a stand-up edge to me. He probably fits a 3-4 better if we're going back to that scheme conversation.
See, this is
but you can always plug a guy into those roles and just see if they can get off,
James, this is what I think where most people are disagreeing. Like, for sure, the chat is this kid has developed more than just one move. He's got hands.
For sure.
He's got the ability to bull rush. He does. And so does Yakus. That's why I like Yakus.
Brandon loves Derek Moore. It's noted. We'll see how it plays out. Let's move off this defense.
But my kid will be there in the 7th round. So I'm not.
Let's Vincent. There you go. Or Vincent Anthony, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, all right. Good for him. let's move on from defensive end. And let me just throw this out here. At 25, if the Bears take Jadarian Price, are you good with that?
No.
No?
I'm not. No.
I think I fucking might be. I'm in like this place where it's gonna be
I'm
all
not
roses for
drafting
me, no
a
matter who the Bears
majority.
draft at 25. There's so much talent that is separated by so little in that range, man. Going all the way damn near to the third round from the bottom of the first round, that like there's a lot of options to me. I'm good with Jadarian Price because the Seahawks might take him at 32. So if you want Jadarian Price, you might need to take him at 25. You might.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Price play a bigger role, man. I really would have. I like him. He's a really talented athlete. I can't take that. I think Price might be there at 57. To be honest with you,
Guys, let's all remember that a lot of people lost their shit that the Bears took a tight end at 10, and they took a tight end that wasn't the number one tight end at 10. Let's not forget that. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not. Let's just say it. So, am I joking? No. Jadarian Price is a talented player, and if the Bears like him, maybe they would. I don't think that they should. I'm just throwing it out there as a conversation piece because, again, none of us saw them going Colston Loveland at 10 last year, and a lot of people were shocked and dismayed by that. But how'd that work out? Okay. John likes Price, not at 25. Jamari Taylor late, True Pilgrim says. Yeah, but like you're one of not many, J2K. And I started to like Colston Loveland the further we got along in that process. And I was good with the pick when they made it. I'm just making the point that a lot of people were not when it happened. I missed the days of arguing with Tyler Warren fans. Those days are still here. We can get Sean back on, and you guys can argue about it.
The problem I have with Price is at 25 is I think you're kind of abandoning the best player available. I think there's better football players than Price available.
Okay, so we can move on. I just thought I'd throw it out there as a little curveball, Brandon. It's not like I'm advocating for the Bears to take Price at 25.
Well, I like the kid. We both like the kid a lot.
Yeah,
but
like again, he might be taken in the first round. The Seahawks are going to need a running back to replace Kenneth Walker, and they might take the jump on Price. A lot of the metrics going on the transition from college to the pros do not favor Jadarian Price. I will say that. But
I'll say this. I'll come out here and say this right now. Jeremiah Love is the best football player in this draft. He's honest to God.
I think he is. Yeah. I think he is. I'm with you.
I think he's the number one ranked player in this fucking draft in regards to
What if the Bears took Omar Cooper Jr. at 25?
That'd be more than I think you'd steal him.
If Omar
Cooper is available at 25, he's the best talent on the board.
You think so? I might be with you. Yeah.
I do. And honestly, this is going to sound even crazier, guys. If Omar Cooper's on the Bears in a year from now, he's probably your number one receiver.
I mean, that's a tough thing to say with Luther Burton already on this roster and Rome Odunze, but I love Omar Cooper. You know, I think he might be the best receiver in this draft. True says he would love Cooper at 25.
Yeah, he is.
So now we're into a realm of offensive players that makes sense at 25. Okay.
Some of these receivers, I won't get too deep, but some of these receivers are some Zion Youngs themselves, man. Some of these first round receivers.
I'm not as high on Jordan Tyson as some people are.
There's a few of them where I'm like, really?
Name them. Who?
Most of these kids, man. Like I like the kid Lemon, but he's like a Matthew Golden to me. He's got a lot of shit to prove before I touch him in the first round. Honestly, Tyson, I'm not crazy about Tyson, man.
I just said I'm not as high on him.
Okay. Who's the kid that they kept throwing in the chat? The last time we did a show, Dustin Malik Williams. Is that the kid's name?
Antonio Williams?
It's a big kid. I don't remember, but I watched some. Boston's okay, man. Like I don't think I'd read.
Talking about Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame.
No. Fields was the guy we were mock drafting like the 4th round. Who's the guy in the mock draft? The 4th round receiver in the mock or 3rd round.
Antonio Williams.
Was it Williams?
Antonio Williams. Yes.
But listen, man. Once you get past Lemon and Cooper, I would wait on a wide receiver.
Yeah.
I
So
think
that's the
again,
other question. What if Lemon is there and Cooper is there? Who would you prefer?
probably Cooper.
I prefer Cooper.
Yeah.
I prefer Cooper.
I think
That's probably crazy to say because
and
Makai
two
Lemon is a
very,
damn good player.
very
We did a
different-
mock where we took Makai Lemon, Brandon, not that
Yeah,
long ago.
and I wasn't
At
disappointed.
25.
I like Lemon. I do. I really like Lemon, and they're very, very different players.
No, llamas, we cannot.
They're what?
He says, can we agree the Bears have one of the luckiest seasons in the NFL of all time? Nope, we cannot. But thank you for asking. Thanks
Hey,
for being
Llamas.
here. Hit that like button.
Dustin's
Hold on.
Dustin's gonna hate that I even do this, but do me a favor. Define luck. What's the definition of luck? I think he's been in here before, Dustin. He's been in here before.
Clap. I just gave him a clap. All right.
You
Casey
got
can
to clap now.
Casey Concepcion, I do like. And he says JTK says Jordan Tyson's number one talent wise, but his injuries are.
See, Boston, I'm good.
I think he's going to be a solid player in the NFL, but I'm not taking him over Omar Cooper.
Yeah. Listen, man, I think receivers are something like Egbuka. We all knew.
Who's this guy?
Egbuka.
You seen this guy before?
Mibara? No.
For his
Mibara.
comments?
Define luck. What is luck?
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Mubarak.
Luck the
We
same
appreciate
as
you.
karma.
I don't want a conversation of people defining luck in our fucking chat, man. Let's move this conversation on. We appreciate
Define
you.
luck. I already
Hit
asked.
that,
Fuck Dustin.
no.
Do it.
Hit that
Do
like
it.
button. Make sure you're subscribed, man. Keep coming back. We'll keep showing your comments. We'll keep having the conversations. But
I thought
don't wanna
Egbuka
define luck.
was. I thought Egbuka and McMillan were the only two receivers really were drafted in a high position last year. Luther Burden fell at 39 and played out in the Bears' favors.
I thought Luther Burden was the best receiver in the draft last year, and he fell to the
I
Bears
was
at
dogging
39.
on Burden in his senior year, but
Yeah,
Egbuka's a stud.
he's
better.
He
He's
is.
better.
Well, he fell off as that season went on, though. He started out with a bang,
got
and
injured.
he did not carry it on. Well, either way, he did not. All right, what are some other guys that you would be okay with at 25? Anything?
Well,
we're missing
do we want to talk about Sadiq? Is that his name?
I'm gonna talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. Let's
What's
throw
the
these
tight
names
end's
out here.
name?
Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah,
Kenyon
Sadiq.
Sadiq.
Is that guy's 25? What are you thinking? As much as the Bears don't need this position, is that a guy
We
that
don't
you're?
have a fifth round pick, Dante.
What is that? Is Sadiq a player because of the accolades you're willing to take a chance on, regardless of how much the Bears don't need it?
Not me, man. No, I don't think I'm taking him at 25 if he's available. If Peter Woods is still there, if there's a lot of guys we've already talked about that are still there, Brandon, and Kenyon Sadiq is there, he's not a guy I'm taking. He's just not. So, listen, I like the kid, and he's a talented guy. Sean compared him to Vernon Davis the other day, saying like he's just an athlete, but it's not going to translate to the NFL. My point was Vernon Davis translated really well to the NFL. He's one of the most dominant tight ends in the league.
Well,
When he was healthy and he was at his best. So.
Me and you disagreed about the film. You liked him as a player at Oregon more than
I like the plays that he made once he had the ball in his hands, for sure. For a guy his size and the way he can catch the ball and go up over guys. But yeah.
Let's go over the position, Dustin, that the Bears would be really screwed on because, like,
The chat likes him, just saying.
Okay, so if Sadiq
Besides
is there,
J2K.
yeah, I'm with you, J2. I'm with you, Dustin. I'm with you, J2K. I don't think I'm taking Sadiq at 25.
I'm not taking him at 25 if he's there.
I mean, he
There's
just
no
hasn't proven enough. I haven't seen enough from him. What about linebacker, Dustin?
I don't think there's a linebacker you're taking there besides CJ Allen.
No, because
And
once you get past Allen and obviously, God damn it, I always forget this fucking kid's name. Styles.
Styles is
It's
up
really-
he's going in the top 10.
Linebackers a position. I actually like a lot of the guys that are projected like mid-round linebacker in this draft, man. Like, I really do. I don't think
The linebackers are in the second and third round that I want to target, and even some in the seventh round if Lander Barton is there. But Golday, I think Jack Kelly is. I don't know if he's as much of a linebacker as a pass rusher from the linebacker spot, but yes, I mean, Golday to me is going to be one of the best linebackers in the league sooner rather than later. That guy would be a steal in the second round. But the problem is the Bears re-signed DeMarco Jackson. They already have Edwards, and they're not moving on from him. And they signed Devin Bush. So, like, are they spending capital? I think they should. And I would love Golday or Anthony Hill Jr. at linebacker, man. I would love either one of those guys. But those guys aren't options at number 25.
Would you use your 55th round pick on Jacob Rodriguez? Would you take him with the 55th pick? Or
57th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. But not if Golday's there. I would take Golday and Hill over Rodriguez personally. Those two are above him. The chat loves Rodriguez. We got
Kyle.
Phil mentioning
this is where I said Kyle is going to be pissed to miss the show, because Kyle will tell you should take Rodriguez with the 25th pick.
I don't know about that. If you trade back, that becomes more of a palatable scenario to me. Not taking him at 25, but again, if you got him ranked that high,
the kid scores touchdowns at an extreme rate for a defensive player, man. He had 4 touchdowns last year. That's like more than half of the offensive players in college football. That's ridiculous. I don't know if that's just like a victim of circumstance kind of thing. I didn't watch too much, but like that's a ridiculous number. I didn't watch Texas Tech, but like holy shit.
I like Golday. I like Golday better than CJ Allen. I think I like Anthony Hill better than CJ Allen, but that's close. Golday and Anthony Hill are my two guys. That's who I would go with. True Pilgrim likes Anthony Hill. So, yeah, I don't know. Kyle Lewis at 89, I would love that, Dante. We've talked about that at length. We talked about that on the bare minimum. But that mock that we discussed had him at 60, actually. The Bears taking him at 60.
Which I would still probably be content with, man. And that's, you're talking about scheme and Dennis Allen. Is there a better player in this draft? Honest to God, is there a better player in this draft?
J2K, it's not goofy. It's not any more goofy than any of the opinions you have. Golday is going to be a damn good linebacker in the NFL. Just watch. Just let it play out. That's my opinion. That's where I'm at. And that's what we do. That's why we do this.
Where's he ranked on the?
I would imagine in the 40s. No lower than like 45.
You keep talking about it.
He's gonna be a damn good player, man. Listen, we're not gonna have time for this mock. I gotta be done by 8. This conversation is gone, and that's fine. We can do a mock anytime. Like we do mocks. I'm sorry, Dante. I know Dante's gonna be disappointed because I said we were mocking 56. I don't care.
Right behind Rodriguez.
And if he's available there, that's not something I would really hesitate on personally. But again, everybody's got their boards. We're not doing a mock tonight, guys. I'm sorry. 8 o'clock. It's got to be my cutoff. We ain't unless we're doing a 13-minute mock and you want to just start it up right now, Brandon.
Fire it.
We got to be quick.
Run it.
All right. If you want to get them the mock, we got to do it now. I guess the final point to summarize for this conversation, Brandon, is that I could feel good if the Bears went a lot of different directions at 25. I like the position they're in. I think there's a lot of depth, and there's some good NFL-ready players they can get at 25. That's what I believe.
Yes, and the point to be made, guys, is you've gotten so comfortable with the Bears over the last few years, drafting within the confines of blue chip talent. We're constantly a top 10 pick because we've been so fucking bad, and that we've had some success. The Bears won't have access to these blue chip talent. Can the Bears still find a guy who makes an impact like that on their football team at 25? The answer is absolutely, 100%, 100% in this draft, which is loaded with a lot of talent, guys. For the first 2 rounds especially, you can find players at the 25th pick that are going to impact, guys. Think about the impact Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and Kyle Monangai and Ozzie Trapillo had on your offense last year. You can find a guy on the defensive side of the football in this draft with the 25th pick that's going to help you win games. I have no doubt of that.
Let's mock it up. We're going to do it.
Mock it up. Where's Suggett? Where's Suggett? Where you at, Suggett?
Suggett's here for sure.
Isn't he?
All right, can you see me?
I can see you, unfortunately.
We got to do this fast. This will be apropos to the conversation we just had. We just talked about a lot of players. Let's see if we can get any of them. All right, we're starting it. Let's go. It's got to be quick.
Let's roll.
Blake Miller was another tackle, actually, that I wanted to mention. Sorry, that I'd be okay with at 25, I think. Cassius Howell went 23. Mekhi Lemon went 22. We're on the clock, and Keldrick Falk is right there, Brandon. The chat's going to hate it, but I love it.
You're going to piss them off.
Avian Terrell,
Where'd
Caden
McNeil Warren
Proctor.
go? I want to know.
Let's
take
see.
Proctor. We've never taken a left tackle on our mocks with the 25th pick.
I want to take Proctor. AJ Halsey is your best safety available. Emmanuel McNeil Warren went 21.
Son of a bitch. He made it past the Vikings.
Dylan Thieneman went number 9 to the Chiefs, bro. Jesus. After we just talked about he could fall.
Is a good football player, guys.
Yeah. Listen, I'd be just beside myself if we didn't take Keldrick Falk here.
All right, let's give it to Dustin, guys.
That's just what it has to be. I'm sorry. TJ Parker's still there.
Just accept the F.
Yep. Nope. We're doing it. Keldrick Falk. Because he's my number 1 with a bullet guy if Thieneman's not there. All right. Now we're at pick 57. Skylar Bell just went. AJ Halsey went right before that. Gosh darn it. AJ Halsey.
Jadarian Price is there.
Jadarian Price is there. Let's look at safety. Kamari Ramsey's right there, but we're going to wait. We're going to wait on safety now. That's just what it is. Golday is right there. Jadarian Price, Keontae Scott, Jennings Dunker, Stukes, Bryce Lance. There's Joshua Josephs, the guy that Dante brought up. There's your guy, Derek Moore, Brandon. Danny Dennis Sutton right there behind
Derek
him.
Moore will be there with the next pick, too.
We did the defensive end, though. So what are we looking at in terms of – you want to look at defensive tackle? Say we don't trade. So unfathomably, we don't trade for Dexter Lawrence. We got Grayson Halton right here.
Is Rodriguez there?
Let's see. I would have let's see. Nope. Anthony Hill is, though.
Linebackers got fucking destroyed in this.
Kyle Lewis is right there. That could be your strong safety, too. He could be your safety. We could draft
chat, man. Guys, go to all the top remaining players.
Keontae Scott, he's a nickelback. You're not replacing, Kyler Gordon. I think he's kind of out of the picture right here. Jadarian Price.
You like Price, guys?
Jennings Dunker, Golday. We got Caleb Tiernan. There's your left tackle. We could do that. Josiah Trotter.
No, you fucking turned me down on Proctor.
Antonio Williams.
Son of a bitch.
Well, he's a guard. Everyone says he's a guard, man. So we don't need a guard. We're good there.
He's not a guard. Yeah.
We got to move this along, though. So what is the chat saying anything?
I'm
trying to. Scott was Dalen Everett cornerback. We're mocking it. No on Price, Mikey says. Any guys?
No on Price. Scott was a 30 visit.
You guys.
Everett on cornerback. J2K says Scott is 24, but yeah, another old man. Mock with a trade down. Guys, we're not gonna do the trades because Dustin will be all night. You lost me with Falk, says Levine.
Sorry.
I like Price. I would like Price at this pick, not at 25.
I would too. We've done it repeatedly.
True Program says Stukes or Hill Jr. We've taken Stukes a lot in mock drafts.
Anthony Hill Jr., I'm all for, honestly. There's Mike Washington, the running back, Grayson Halton, the
True Program threw some names out there. Michigan wins tonight. Joe the Squirrels here. Michigan wins tonight. Stukes. We got multiple Stukes.
Yeah, they're going to dominate that game.
We got 2 Stukes. J2K says take Lance because fuck it. And I
okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
I fucking love that.
Are we doing it?
Sure.
Are we doing it?
Let's take fucking Lance.
We're doing it. We just did it.
That kid's gonna be a fucking beast.
Hey, look at 60, we still have Price right there. We
Is
still have
Sutton
Stukes.
still around? We already took an edge though.
Yeah, no, we already took the edge.
Fifth says take Sutton, but we took an edge. I don't like.
Yeah, well, let's go Stukes. A lot of people in the chat were saying Stukes. You said we can go Stukes right here.
So you're looking at his safety here, guys. He played the corner position in college, but you're looking at what most.
We could go Lewis, Kyle Lewis.
Malachi Lawrence says Howie Hecht. I like it, Suggett. Suggett pops in and throws out Hecht. Is Hecht still on the board?
I'm sure he is.
Because that's an A+ draft pick at the 60th spot, man.
Sam Hecht is right there. He's ranked 84.
I'm all for it.
Not Connor Lure in front
Relentless Mikey says Hecht.
All right, we're gonna give Hecht to the chat. Yeah. Or are we going Stukes? Is it Hecht or is it Stukes?
Howie says Stukes. It's up in the air, boys.
Stukes. We got 6 minutes.
Stukes or Hecht? Suggett says do it. Let's take Hecht.
Do it. Phil says Hecht. All right, we're going Hecht.
Now we have nothing on safety though.
Hey, Brandon, sometimes you just got to say, what the heck? You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you just gotta say suck it.
Sometimes you just got to say, suck it. All right, number 89.
Safety.
Devin Moore.
We gotta take a safety.
I like Devin Moore, though, the cornerback. Let's see. There's Genesis Smith and Wheatley still there. But I want to see if Kyle Lewis is still there because I think he's.
Wait, is that Bud Clark right there?
Yeah, it was.
I don't give a fuck about the age, dude. I'm drafting Bud Clark. That's a
yeah.
starter. That's the starter in the NFL. Day one.
Linebacker.
You heard it here, guys. Fifth Sutton went wild.
Kyle Lewis. I'm looking for Kyle Lewis, but he's not here. He could have been our strong safety.
Phillips says safety here. I'm taking Bud Clark at this big over Genesis.
I'm not taking him over Wheatley. I'm not taking Bud Clark over Wheatley, personally.
Okay, I don't love Wheatley. I certainly, as long as we don't take Genesis, man.
Listen, I think Bud Clark could be there at 129. Personally.
Oh, Howie says I demand Landon Robinson at 129.
Okay, so then we can't do.
You guys see PFF added grades? Did not see that. Stukes and Lando Robb. So we're getting a lot of Landon Robinson. I'm all for. Let's take
Stukes is gone. Guys.
Let's take a safety here, Dustin. Let's take a safety.
I think Devin Moore. I'll just say Devin Moore is the pick here, to me. The cornerback out of Florida. Just in terms of what's available on the board.
Guys, you want a safety or you want Devin Moore?
It's Devin Moore. It's the safety. The chat never agrees with.
You take Devin Moore and then you move Tyreek Stevenson to safety?
Or you move Kyler Gordon there. I don't know.
Tyreek Stevenson safety. That's what Dave wants.
All right. So what are we doing? What's the chat?
Mikey says safety. Let's go Wheatley. Let's go with your guy.
I mean, yeah, it's Wheatley or it's Smith to me over Clark.
I'm not touching Genesis. I'm not touching the guy.
Okay, so what's the chat think of between Genesis Smith and Zakee Wheatley?
Yeah, Smith or Wheatley. They're coming in. Thanks, guys, for being so prompt.
They're coming in hot.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Smith or Wheatley. J2K, where you at?
Deuce is gone. Suggett says Wheatley.
Suggett says Wheatley. J2K, where you at? Smith or Wheatley? Where's our insider? True Pilgrim says Smith.
Genesis is terrible, Mikey says. Okay.
The guy can't tackle, dude.
All right, so we're going Wheatley. Yes?
Yep. James Christian says Smith. Phillips says Wheatley. It's a split. It's a draw, dude.
All right, well, it's
J2K abandoning us. Because we took Falk.
And now we can take Seth McGowan, the running back out of Kentucky.
So the guy the Bears visited with, the criminal?
Yep. There's Jude Bowery right there.
Is that
left
the murderer
tackle.
at the Bears?
We could go Bowery, Boston College, another Boston College.
Where are we at? What round are we in here?
We're in 129. We're not picking again until the 7th.
If these guys want Landon Robinson, you got to look if he's there, man. If he's
we have taken Keldrick Falk, Bryce Lance, Sam Heck, Zakee Wheatley. We have not gotten the defensive tackle.
Is Landon Robinson there?
I'm gonna check. Relax.
Howie, we're checking for you, but
okay, calm down.
Howie says center, 89. Yeah, we took Hecht.
Yeah. Zane Durant is right there, but Landon Robinson
says Wheatley ran a 4.6.
Well, we drafted him.
You are hard to please, my man.
Listen, I like Cape Hart. I'll just say that out of Clemson.
Is Landon Robinson gone?
Yes, he's gone. Zane Durant is. I would entertain Zane Durant.
Stop talking about Landon Robinson, guys. You're moving his draft position.
Yeah. Seriously, he was a 7th round pick 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
He's going in the 3rd round. All right, but it's Cape Hart or Durant at tackle to me. That's what I'd be looking at.
Here, Dante says I paid all this money for this whack draft. Who you got here, Dante? Who you got? Who's your guy here? 129.
Did Dante pay something?
I don't know. Did he? We get his. If he did, we got to read those chats. Man.
Yeah, seriously, Dante. Yeah, if he did, we gotta make his pick for him for sure.
Mike says, "LOL, Dante." I just don't think the Bears' luck is good. Jesus Christ, Llama.
All right, my baby's calling me. We got to make this pick. All right, I would say Bowery. You get another tackle option, or we go Zane Durant or Cape Hart, or I like Charles Demings a lot, the cornerback out of Austin, Stephen F. Austin.
Julian Neal is a free safety.
All right, can we do something?
$40 a mock. I don't want that. Dante, who we picking here? Dustin's got to go. Just pick somebody, dude. You got to go.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to get the left tackle or you want to get the cornerback? I'm going Bowery. I'm going Demings. Demings is kind of a stud, man.
I would probably go left tackle.
All right, let's go Bowery.
Can have some trouble there this year.
All right, then we got 7th round picks from there.
Vincent Anthony. At least J2K agrees with it.
What?
When are you guys doing a chat mock draft? James says we'll do it Thursday. If you're here, James.
Yeah, we'll do that on
We'll
the
let
bare
the
minimum
chat pick
Thursday night.
every pick, like BCP does.
Yeah.
You guys can
All right.
pick them all.
Vincent Anthony Jr. There he is, drafted.
That's a B+ pick right there. I guarantee it.
Okay, you guys want to go Nick Barrett, defensive tackle out of South Carolina here? Or do you want to go Caden Wetchen, the wide receiver? We already drafted Bryce Lance.
Are you guys, me, Bara, and Lama, are you guys dating?
All right, we're going Barrett.
Spin the bottle. Dante says spin the bottle.
We've earned one new reward, so that's cool. We drafted Sam Hecht. That was the chat's pick, and we should have drafted Keontae Scott, it says. Keldrick Falk in A, so kiss my ass. Bryce Lance, C+.
Sam Hecht got a terrible
Sam
grade.
Hecht, D+. Wheatley, C+. Bowery, C+. Vincent Anthony Jr., B+. Nick Barrett, A-.
Yeah.
Overall draft grade, we got a B. We got our defensive end of the future and the present.
He wasn't there, Howie. He wasn't there.
Howie, he wasn't there. Sam
Landon
Hecht.
Robinson, you guys talk too much about him. Now he's fucking flying up draft boards.
Listen, we got our safety. We got our future center. We got the wide receiver, our 3rd or 4th wide receiver. We got another edge. We got some tackle competition. We got another edge, and we got Nick Barrett to throw into the interior of that defensive line.
Sam
I'm
Hecht,
good with it.
D+. That's insane.
Listen, we did this in a rush. We did this. We had to go, and it is what it is. A B is not bad. Have a great evening, Bear buddies. Bear the fuck down. Yes, bear the fuck down, Phil. We appreciate you, man. How is Hector
Thank
D+?
you guys, everybody in
He was
here tonight. We appreciate you. Hey, it's too many to name.
Dante be happy with the draft. Thank you, Dante.
Landon went 128.
He went
Did
right
he?
before us. I don't
Son of
know.
a bitch.
Listen, we love you guys. Everybody
Tom.
in here, you were awesome. Appreciate the comments. J2K, Mikey, True, Dante. Me Borrow was new. Llama's 5th. First time I saw you, man. Tom, you're the
It might be
fucking
the same
shit.
person.
Stuggett.
Lama
You
and
guys-
Barrow might be the same
I'm
person.
sure I'm missing somebody. James Christo. Yeah, we love you guys. You guys were great tonight. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy that Michigan beatdown because that's what it will be. Yeah, and we'll see you again on Wednesday with
Michigan
the
beatdowns.
barely there. I don't know.
State.
If you're watching it, you better enjoy it. Otherwise, don't watch it because that's what's going to happen.
Thanks, J2K. He says, have a great week, everyone, guys. What do you guys think of Christian Wilkins? I think the Bears should sign him if it's available.
Hell yeah.
No
Hey,
matter who's
bear the
kissing.
fuck down. Join us again on Wednesday for the Barely There. They'll be here at 7 o'clock. Me and Brandon will be here on Thursday evening, late evening in the morning, basically 11:30 at night is when we started up. That's when we'll do our all chat draft. So join us for
Be
that.
here
All right?
Thursday night, guys. Chat draft.
All right, guys. Peace. Bear down.